thing that they're bumping up this vote, but I'm looking for it, and looks like they're trying to choke it through secretly, because it's not coming up on any news sources, and then I'm looking at the actual Congress.gov that it still is not listing like their schedule. So it's past the the House Judiciary, and then a specific committee on crime, terrorism, and homeland security. It's going up for a vote, but word came out this morning that they're bumping it up. They were supposed to go into recess until sometime in August is when they were expecting the vote to come up.
Yeah.
But like Firearm Policy Coalition and some other sources on social media are saying that they're bumping it up for a vote today, and that they literally changed the House rules to be able to do that.
To vote on it today?
Yeah.
They're trying to keep the opposition down as much as possible so people don't storm the...
Yeah, I mean that's
Washington
part of
again.
it. I mean they're cutting out at least a month of people being able to call in and protest, and this is HR 1808 that we're talking about, the assault weapons ban of 2022.
All right, leadheads. This is a little pre-show precursor before we get into today's episode for what's going on with the assault weapons ban. I wanted to get you guys maybe some perspective on what's going on. You need to be active and you need to get involved, but I don't think panic is the key just yet, because there's still a lot of stages that this bill has to go through. And to do that, I brought on an attorney. He's a friend of the show. He's a leadhead. He's been on a couple episodes back, and you guys are familiar with him. If you're not, you're just tuning in. Give a big welcome to leadhead Pearce Taylor. Pearce, welcome in.
Hey, thank you for having me.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And Pearce is an attorney in Georgia. I don't know if you want to state what your specific practice is or not, but
yeah, sure.
You know the law, and you've been boning up on this, so you know quite a bit about it. So I thought it'd be good if we had an attorney and got an attorney's kind of perspective on this.
So I am an attorney in Georgia. My specific practice is workers' compensation defense, but in law school, took a lot of constitutional law classes. I stay up on the goings-on of the Second Amendment community because obviously longtime leadhead and Second Amendment enthusiast. But this morning I took kind of a deep dive into a few things that are going on, including this HR 1808 assault weapons ban that they're seemingly bumping up to a vote before they go into recess. They being the House.
Being our government.
Right.
Is who they are. The government and the people who are their puppet masters.
Right. And so essentially what it is it has a ton of definitions, and it defines just a general semi-automatic assault weapon as it can be a pistol, a rifle, or a shotgun with a removable magazine or some other feature, as well as it's kind of doing the thing that a lot of states have done where they're picking these guns by certain features. The thing that will pull out a lot of guns, including just regular handguns, is one of those features is also a threaded barrel.
A threaded barrel is going to be considered an assault weapon.
A removable magazine plus a threaded barrel, and it falls under their definition. They've also specifically named a ton of different guns. So Knight's Armament SR-15 was one that I saw, and that's a very Canadian way of going about it because the Canadian ban also does the same thing.
This is crazy, and I'm like you. I saw a lot of this on social media. So welcome to the show, Leadheads. This is the Talking Lead Podcast. I thought this was important enough to try to get you guys some information and let you know what's going on, since the show is dropping today, Friday, July the 29th. HR 1808, is that it? I found it here.
Yeah.
Yeah, here we go.
Assault weapons ban of 2022.
And HR 1808, 117th Congress, 2021-2022. The bill makes it a crime to knowingly import, sell, manufacture, transfer, or possess a semi-automatic assault weapon. they're calling it, abbreviating, a SAW, or large capacity ammunition feeding device, and they're abbreviating that LCAFD. The prohibition does not apply to a firearm that is manually operated by bolt, pump, lever, or slide action. Permanently,
they actually exempt a lot of guns as well. And recently you had Henry Firearms on, and there's a bunch of Henrys that are specifically named under the exempt portion of this law.
Yeah, because they're lever actions. Permanently inoperable, an antique, or a rifle or shotgun specifically identified by make and model. A rifle or shotgun specifically identified. Okay, if they specifically identify it, then it's exempt. The bill also exempts from the prohibition the following with respect to a SAW or a LCAFD: importation, sale, manufacture, transfer, or possession related to certain law enforcement efforts or authorized tests or experiments. So obviously the LE and military are going to be exempt from this.
As well as any federal agency that they deem fit, I would assume.
Sure. Importation, sale, transfer, or possession related to securing nuclear materials, and possession by a retired law enforcement officer. The bill permits continued possession, sale, or transfer of a grandfathered SAW, which must be securely stored. So they're going to make that part of it also, that we're going to have to, they're going to mandate that we have safes and secure devices on our weapons.
That's exactly it. They have they're grandfathering it, but they're also implementing a lot of other kind of difficult and unnecessary.
Yeah.
So you mentioned the storage requirements. There's also a marking requirement. So any sort of law, so they say, or a SAW, so they say, the assault weapons, that they'll have to be specifically marked, even though they're grandfathered in, as well as those quote unquote large capacity magazines that will also have to be marked. I think you've seen something similar requirements in states like Connecticut and everything. It's just something that's absolutely impossible
California,
to enforce this.
New York.
Right. Exactly. But it's impossible to enforce, and violative probably of a number of other constitutional rights, such as due process, any sort of privacy right.
It's going to be very difficult to enforce, but they're going to make it a law, and it's going to be a law, and it will be, you will be subject to the fines and penalties that go along with that if you violate it.
Sure.
So I'm not saying that people shouldn't protest and, exercise your God-given right to all this, but it just makes it easier for them to take you to jail and prosecute you and make your life a living freaking hell. And they're going to have their stormtroopers that come out and are happy to enforce this. I mean, you've got people, law enforcement officers that you're talking to now, military people that you're talking to now, that's saying, hey, I'm not, they do this, I'm not gonna, you don't have to worry about me coming and taking your stuff. Well, guess what? They'll get rid of them, and they'll find somebody else who will.
Absolutely. In the last 2 weeks, we saw, in Delaware, an ATF agent with some local PD showed up at a guy's house because he bought more than one gun, and the multi-gun purchase report was created, and they were saying, oh, it's nothing, just show us the gun and we'll be on our way. We just have to make sure that you're keeping it. And then in the last couple of days, the video surfaced of an ATF agent going and taking pictures of the some local gun stores records. And so essentially what
they
they're
were
doing
getting
is
the
they're
buyer's
padding
name,
the illegal
address,
registry,
phone number. Yeah, and they've been doing that. They have been doing that since the beginning.
Absolutely.
So, I mean, make no mistake, that is exactly what they have done. It's not what they're doing. They have done. They have already made a registry of who has firearms, where they're at, how many you got. And this is just going to go further in perpetuating that. This goes on to say a licensed gun dealer must conduct a background check prior to the sale or transfer of a grandfathered SAW between private parties. So this is their made-up gun show loophole where up until if this passes, it has been legal for private sales, private individuals to conduct sales amongst themselves without having to do any sort of background or registration, I guess. But now this is where they're supposedly trying to fill that gap that they feel is has been missing.
Definitely.
It also goes on.
Should we talk about kind of the? Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
No, let me finish this, and then we'll talk about some more. So the bill permits continued possession of, but prohibits sale or transfer of a grandfathered. It's the LCAFD, the magazine's large capacity ammunition feeding device is what they're calling a magazine. Newly manufactured LCAFDs must display serial number identification. So you got to serialize magazines now. Newly manufactured saws and LCAFDs must display the date of manufacture. The bill also allows a state or local government to use Edward Byrne Memorial Justice Assistance Grant Program funds to compensate individuals who surrender a saw or a large capacity ammo-fed device.
A government buyback.
Under a buyback program. So basically a government buyback program. So that's it in a nutshell. Which is kind of a
misnomer because you had to have owned it before to buy it back.
That's true. That's true. That is true. So, and this is just the surface of it. If you get into it, I'm sure there goes into a lot more, and there's a lot more caveats and BS involved with it. But they are voting on it today. You need to, and I don't know how soon I'll get this out. It may be too late by the time this gets out. But you guys are aware of this. You know it's been going on. We've talked about it in past episodes. The social media is probably abuzz with it this morning. I haven't actually got on and gone through because I've been trying to get this show polished up and ready to go, ready to edit. So what do you want to add to this? What do people need to, if this passes, what are our recourses?
Okay, so I think where I'd like to start is kind of the process for it to pass. So right now it is facing a vote in the House, and the composition of the House is such that it is going to pass the House. There is just too much of a majority of the Democrats over the Republicans, and there probably will be some Republicans that vote, as we saw recently with a gun control bill that was recently passed by both sections of the legislature and then signed by President Biden. So this will pass. It's great to call your local representatives. There's a way of doing it. There's a number of different websites that will identify them for you, but you can also go to congress.gov and figure out what district you're in and who represents you specifically. It's probably too late when it comes to the actual House members, since the vote seems to be going today, potentially. The next step will be it will go to Senate. Chances are it'll probably go to a committee in Senate. It'll be tweaked, and then it'll be put up for a vote on the Senate floor. From now until whenever that happens, it would be really important to write, to call, and just to bombard the living hell out of your local senators. So you'll have 2 for every state. Call both of them every single day, even if it is just to say, quick, for 10 seconds, do not vote for this. And it's going to change names probably once it goes to the Senate. It'll probably be combined with whatever the Senate has introduced, because they always seem to have the same bill introduced in both portions. But in order for the Senate to pass it, so the Democrats have a very narrow majority, and the Senate requires cloture. So meaning they have to have essentially 60 votes in order to pass anything of significance. So they would have to have 60 votes, but we've seen it in the past. The nuclear option, they claim, would be to get rid of cloture. So all they would have to do is have a simple majority. And I believe it's 51 to 49 senators, and that would be assuming that no Republican senators vote for the assault weapons ban. But we see several Republican senators, the one from Maine, I can't remember her name, but she seems to vote Democrat a lot.
Susan Collins and Angus King.
Yes. So we could see that go. Biden will sign it, whatever comes to him, and then it would be up to the courts. There would be probably 3 levels of court: the district federal court, the appellate court, and then the Supreme Court. And then the Supreme Court would have the choice to take it up. Generally, the Supreme Court will take a case when 2 different courts of appeals. So you'd have, let's say, the 9th, which is California and all of those, versus the 11th, which is Georgia and most of the southeast corner of the United States. If they come up with differing opinions, chances are the Supreme Court would be more likely to take it. And we saw recently in the Bruin decision that the Supreme Court has now essentially said there's a higher level of scrutiny that Second Amendment laws have to be reviewed under. Prior to that, even under the Heller decision and I can't remember the one that came after it out of Chicago, but those decisions really punted when it came to the level of scrutiny that a court must review a law. And the higher level of scrutiny, the harder it is to uphold that law. So we had the Bruin decision recently that overturned the special cause requirement for getting a concealed carry permit in New York. And it gave very specific and terrific reasoning as to why, and really enforced and pumped up the Second Amendment as essentially an actual right, which the court had always treated it somewhat as a bastard right. They never really treated it with the same respect that they did the First Amendment or the Fourth Amendment. And so now we have a higher level of scrutiny, and chances are this conservative court would probably overturn the assault weapons ban if it actually comes to fruition.
So let me ask you this.
Yeah, go ahead.
So if the House is voting on it today and it's likely to get passed through the House, then it goes to the Senate. The Senate votes on it. How soon after the House does it would the Senate have to vote on it?
It depends on if they want to push it forward.
Well, obviously they do.
Yeah, for sure. I would say they'd probably fast track it because they probably want it ahead of the midterm elections. But they would have to also, in order to pass this, they'd have to end cloture. So that would require a vote. And then they would have to then put this through committee, probably make some changes, vote on those changes. And if it passes, chances are the updated bill would go back to the House for another vote before going to the president. So, I mean,
this ain't gonna pass today. You know, this isn't gonna go into effect today. No. But if it does do all those other things before it gets to the president, and then the president signs off on it, once he signs off on it, is it enacted at that point?
Yes, it would be enacted probably right exactly when he signs it. Certain bills, sometimes they will put an effective date. So it would be, July 1st seems to be an effective date that a lot of bills will have, more so probably in the states than it does the feds. But chances are this one would be effective immediately.
So we still have time to fight this and get your opinions in there. And like Pearce said, contact your senators because it's too late to get in touch with your representatives. And you can go to contactsenators.com. That's www, I guess, contactsenators.com. And there's a list of every state there and a link to how you can directly get in touch with them. So, for instance, I'm Tennessee. I can go down through here, Marsha Blackburn and Bill Haggerty. I click on their name. It brings her up, and it's got fact sheets about her. And it says, here you will find information on her. Here's a mailing address. Here's a phone number. Everything you need right there. Email, website, all the stuff's there for everybody.
Yeah, sometimes we also see organizations like Gun Owners of America, Firearms Policy Coalition. They'll also have links that will help you contact whatever it be, whether it be the House or senators. Sometimes they'll even have kind of a pre-made email that you can send, make it super easy. The problem is those form emails are often never read.
Yeah, they go through some sort of a filtering process. Like, okay, this is like a spam kind of thing, and they'll just discard them. Right. But by law, they're supposed to read all those.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so there you go, lead heads. A little quick update on the assault weapons ban, where it's at, what's going on. Don't panic. It's not going to be enacted today. It's just going to get voted on by the House. Probably will pass the House as you're listening to this. It's probably already passed. Hopefully not. I mean, hopefully some kind of curveball comes up to where it's not going to get passed, but there's still a lot involved with it to get it passed. So the House, then the Senate, then you say if the Senate does it, then it might have to go back to the House for another vote or something, and then it gets, so.
Yeah, there's a process for sure.
A lot of process going on, and they can't bypass this process either. Is that correct? Or is there a way for them is there a loophole, as I like to call them, for them to bypass this?
Not that I'm aware of. They may fast track it. They may put it as a priority bill, which you probably will see. So it may be faster than we would hope.
Yeah.
But, I mean, not overnight, probably not even in the next couple of weeks. Most likely it'll take a month or two. But my bet would be if it is going to get passed, the action's going to happen before these midterms, because they're going to try to ride that as a victory to try to drum up some more votes.
Yeah, well, hopefully it'll be the opposite, and I think with the majority of Americans, unpopular with what's going on in the media these days is most people don't want this. Most Americans do not want this at all.
Well, that's majority. Also evident because you start. I don't know if you've seen it, but there's so many politicians that are just blatantly lying about what these guns are.
Yeah, they're making up stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the one that popped up the other day is some female congresswoman said something along the lines of that the AR-15, the 5.56 round, will make an exit wound several feet wide.
Oh yeah, talking about it blowing people's heads apart. And the guy with the brace talking about the stabilizing braces, that they're bump stocks.
Oh yes, I saw that one as well.
What a bonehead! But, I mean, they're just blatantly, like you said, lying about this. And I think this guy actually, that's what he was fed, so that's what he was regurgitating. That's how his what are those people called that they have around him? His entourage was feeding him.
His staffers.
And no, they all knowing that it's bull crap. And yet this guy's just, earpiece saying what he says, Ron Burgundy in it, and
for sure,
showing what an idiot
Biden
these people
the other day
are.
Say, repeat that line.
Repeat that line.
Yeah.
From his teleprompter.
Yep, and he didn't repeat the line. That was the funniest part.
He just read it and kept on.
Oh yeah.
It's a shame that it's so funny. Because this is our government. These are the people who are in charge, put in charge by us. So you got to get out there. You got to do your part. You got to protest. You got to make your disappointments and your likes and dislikes known to your senators and your representatives and these
people. Vote and fund the organizations that are pushing forward the rights that we find important.
Yeah, our lobbyists. You gotta get in there and pick one, pick a side. If it's not the NRA, pick the NSSF, pick the there's a dozen other ones that you can go. Pearce Taylor.
Firearms Policy Coalitions, Gun Owners of America. There's all kinds of state and local. Many. Georgia Carry is one here that does a lot on the state side, which is just as important as what the federal government is doing. In fact, it's probably more important, seeing as states will often have things will go a lot faster in the states typically, and that will sometimes affect your day to day more so than what the feds do.
Yeah, absolutely. So as I was stating earlier, and I apologize for the crappy introduction to this little pre-show cursor, but I'm getting ready to go out of town for a couple of weeks, and I had prepared a blast from the past show, and that's what we're getting ready to hear right now. It's with Jesse Tischhauser and Casey Griggs. This is about 3 years ago. I think we did this. We were doing some three-gun talk. is back when Three Gun Nation was still around, so maybe longer than 3 years ago. But Jesse Tischauer is a national champion, world champion in the 3-gun, and Casey Griggs since then has been moving up and doing quite well in the competition circuit. But we talk about everything. It's a really good episode. I was listening to it the other day, and I thought, I can't remember. Maybe it's 5 years ago. I don't know. It's an older one. It's like episode 128 or something like that. I don't know.
Oh yeah, yeah. I haven't heard anything about Three Gun Nation in probably about 5 years. So you're probably right on that.
Yeah, but it's not just that. I mean, we talk about all kinds of different things, and Casey and Jesse get into talking about different types of firearms and mechanics, and we talk about the jack wagons back in the day that we had are interesting to hear and what was going on. We talk about Texas Hold'em and craps and the braces. They were an issue back then too, and the ATF was waffling back when we were talking about this. But I am headed to Gunfest. I'm going to Sturgis, and this is my first time going to this event. And I'm traveling with Keltec, our buddies from Keltec. They've got a tour bus that they've commandeered, and we're going to be filming they're going to document the trip. So
awesome.
So that's why
no motorcycle for you.
Well, we can rent them when we get there. We're not
okay taking
any there. Chad is very well versed in the motorcycle world, so I'm sure he'll be able to hook us up. But this is going to be a great event, so you guys make sure you're following me on the Instagrams, the social medias. Back and forth, maybe I'll flip between Facebook and Instagram to do live and things like that as connectivity is available. I plan on setting up the studio there. I think they're going to have space there for me to be able to do that and do some interviews with the different companies that are there, maybe some of the people. But it's the 5th, 6th, and 7th is when Gunfest is. And you can go and Google it, look it up, find it. I'll put a link in the show notes here too. But I'm going to be gone couple of weeks because we're taking the tour bus. So we're driving up there and then driving back. So the content-wise, be looking on my social media because after this show, it'll be a while before I get another one. So we'll probably do that one, and then we got the AK Corner coming up for August. I've pushed the giveaway again because of this trip. This is the main reason. Participation has increased, and I'm glad to see that. And the level of competition has stepped up. The quality of these posts, Pearce.
Yeah, we're seeing some videos, I think, right?
Yeah, there's people doing video, and that's what I wanted to see. I wanted to see people take that extra effort to go and win this BFT 47 AK rifle from Century Arms that we are giving away. And I'm going to push it till September. So I'm going to give you more time. And for those who have submitted entries like yourself, Pearce, and Aura, and everybody, if you want to submit another one, if you're like, oh, maybe mine, I didn't really go that extra mile, and maybe I should put a little extra pepper on it. You've got time.
My entry sucked.
I'm not saying your entries suck. I'm just saying there's time because even from the beginning, I said you could have multiple entries, but I'm only going to take one. And you need to designate the one that I take. So if you've done one in the past and you do a new one, then let me know it's a new entry and that this is the one that I need to use, somewhere. Hashtag this is the one you need to use or something like that. So there's no question that that's the one I need to use. Because the hashtag TLBFT47, as I told you, has been banned by Instagram. There's a couple, you can only see a couple of posts, and it's the ones that don't have, I guess, guns in them that they're allowing to be shown. So I don't get that because anything else gun related, you can do the hashtag and it comes up and you can see it just fine. So make sure you tag me at Talking Lead, but I also want you to tag all of our sponsors and do the hashtags, as many hashtags you want. I don't care as long as the TLBFT47's in there. Even though it's not working, I want that one in there. But tag at Talking Lead. And you have to tag me by going in and putting at Talking Lead in your comments. I don't think that works as tagging me. You have to actually hit the tag people thing for it to show up in my feed, so I know that it's there. Because I've seen a couple that weren't in my feed, didn't show up, but I found them some other way. So if I haven't reposted it on my Instagram page, then I haven't seen it. And you need to either email me or DM me on the social medias there and let me know that you submitted something. That's another way. Just go ahead and do that. Just go ahead and email me and DM me and let me know that you submitted something too. That's just another way to ensure that we get you involved in this contest. And if you don't know what we're talking about, you can go back to the past AK corners, the last 2 or 3, and I give you all the information that you need to know to be able to get into this contest to win a Century Arms AK-47. So there you go. That's the pre-show. Pearce, I appreciate you taking the time to be on.
Thanks for having me.
And kind of give us an update on this. And for our avid listeners, Pearce was on a couple of episodes back with his dad. His dad's an author, and I don't have his book. I normally have it sitting here, but I just finished the second one. You got
good.
You got it over there on your shelf?
Yeah, I'm grabbing it. It is Stolen Angels by William J. Taylor.
There it is. You got your blur screen on, so.
Do I?
Yeah.
I don't even know how to do that, so it was unintentional.
So that was a good interview. Go back, check that out. A great book, so make sure you go back and check out that book. It's about child trafficking. It's a fictional piece of work, but in his personal life, you can tell that he has dealt with this and he knows a lot about it. Former Marine, or not a former, he's a Marine. There's no such thing as a former Marine, right?
Well, former Marine, there's the only ex-Marine is a dead Marine.
There you go. But even then, they're still a Marine.
Right.
They're never not a Marine. So, great book. And the second one is kind of a supplement to that book, kind of a follow-up. It's a shorter one. And then the third one, I haven't gotten to it. It's like San Andreas Fault. Is that what it is?
Yes.
Yeah.
San Andreas Fault.
San Andreas Fault. And I'm looking forward to checking that one out. I'll probably maybe get some reading time in on the tour bus. I don't know.
In between debauchery?
In between whatever, I don't think those guys are too scandalous from Kel-Tec, so I don't think I have too much to worry about. You're not going to see us in the news about anything. Pearce, again, thank you so much. Where can people find you if they want to get in touch with you? They have questions for you real quick.
Yeah, absolutely. On Instagram, PMan301 is probably the easiest. Pearce Taylor on Facebook.
There you go. But enjoy this blast from the past. And like I said, keep an eye on the social medias because we're going to be doing some lives and stuff from the road. So Pearce, thank you again. Leadheads, thank you guys for all the support. So 10 years of Talking Lead. And just kind of celebrate that, I wanted to bring this. I don't think it's gotten the attention that it needs, this episode that I did with Jesse Tischhauser and Casey Grids a few years ago. And I think you guys are really going to enjoy it. It's got a lot of good information. We had fun doing it. So here it is. Enjoy, Leadheads. Leadheads, welcome back to Talking Lead, and I'll get the episode right this time. It's 128, and we're going to have another really big show for you guys. First off, I want to thank Peter Palma from last week. Peter's with MS Clean, and he also does articles for Recoil Magazine. And speaking of the MS Clean kits, mine came in, and I was excited to get those, the new double MS Clean kits. And I got the red to carry my medical stuff in, and I've got a black one that's got all the gun cleaning, the new gun cleaning stuff that they're offering. So I haven't actually opened it up, so I'll open it up a little later in the show, and we'll talk about what all's in my Miss Clean kit. I'd like to thank, again, Peter and Miss Clean, so you guys go check him out at MissCleanKits.com. And also check out Peter's articles that he writes in Recoil Magazine. He alluded that he's got a really cool Vortex article that he's going to be writing on one of their new products, so I'm excited to see what that's going to be. And we want to thank and welcome aboard our new official sponsor, Tactical Walls. Tim with Tactical Walls was on our show a couple episodes back, and they've decided to come on board and be lead heads. So make sure you go to tacticalwalls.com, and they've got a discount code set up for you lead heads, and it's all capital letters, all one word, lead head, and you're going to get 7% off any of your orders there at Tactical Walls. And with the holidays coming up, if you guys haven't checked out Tactical Walls, you need to go check out the concealment furniture and gadgets that they have there. Pretty cool stuff. And you've heard me talk about the clock. Can you guys see my clock back here I've got? You see that, Jesse?
I do.
Yeah. So
they've got a bunch of neat stuff on their website, man. You could do your whole house up in that and just have about 500,000 firearms stashed everywhere.
I'm telling you, man. I mean, there's no reason not to have them concealed and hidden and at the ready at every corner in your house. They make that possible at Tactical Walls, so go check them out. And as you know, I've been advertising on Facebook and social media who my guest is this week. It's Jesse, and I'm going to screw his last name up, Tischauer.
Yeah, that's pretty close. Tischhauser.
Tischhauser, okay.
Yes.
Almost like Doogie Howser, but it's Tischhauser.
I got that a lot when I was in the military.
Did you really?
Oh, man, all the time.
Oh, you're a big dude, though. I bet you whooped some people's asses over that one.
Occasionally I had to, yeah. It was better than some of the alternatives, so I didn't mind
there you go. The reason I said that was one of our trivia questions back Tactical Walls. It had to do with Doogie Howser.
I heard that one, yes.
Yeah. Welcome into Jesse. Appreciate you joining us. And we've also got, we're going to call you my co-host now. Is that what we're doing, Casey?
Sure, we can do that if you want.
Okay. CG3G is co-hosting with us today for as long as he can until he gets called out on an emergency. So welcome in, Casey. Or don't say anything at all.
Or, okay, yeah. Congratulations. I don't know what you want to say.
I've never known you to be short on words, dude. Come on.
I know. I'm sitting here listening because it was possible a CO poisoning is what they were talking about on the radio. So I was.
Well, if you were here at my house right now, you'd be experiencing CO poisoning. That's for sure.
Yeah, it sounds like it.
What did I do this week in guns? Nordic Components sent me some goodies. I've got a new muzzle brake for my 300 Blackout, the Corvette muzzle brake. I don't have it over here. I was going to show it to you guys. I'm anxious to try that one out. Hunting season is coming up. Actually, rifle season starts this weekend here in Tennessee. So I'm going to be taking that out and hopefully get me a big old buck. I've been told that there's a 10-pointer on my property east of here, Casey.
Sounds like fun.
Yeah. So I'm looking forward to that. And then they also sent the competition muzzle brake. And I put that on Tia's Mickey Mouse rifle. So she has yet to take her rifle out to shoot it. So we're going to take her rifle out here soon, get some videos of her shooting her Mickey Mouse rifle. And the Nordic Components competition muzzle brake on that sucker. And he also sent us a couple of charging handles. We're going to try those out as well. One of them's got a Badger latch, and then the other one's just the normal. But I already switched them out in the guns, and I could feel a difference. They feel sturdier. So yeah, so I'll be trying out those, and as we're going to find out later in the show, one of our lead heads is going to win an MXT shotgun extension kit. and Jesse's going to be announcing the winner to that. But I've got one that I'm going to be trying out on my Remington 870, and I'm going to do a little how-to install video on that once I figure out how to install it. But I don't think they're too hard to install. They're pretty straightforward, right, guys?
Yeah, they are.
You both have them.
Yeah. Some of those 870s have some dimples inside the tube, though.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I've done one before, and I'm not sure where the cutoff is because they've made 870s for all of eternity. But you may have to get inside there with a Dremel or some sandpaper or something and knock off 2 nubs on each side of the tube.
Okay.
The shotgun I had, which was probably circa 1990, had those inside there. I don't know if they still do. They're probably a little more tactical now than they were back then.
Okay. Good.
Other than that, the Nordic side of it's pretty simple.
Would I be able just to shine a light down there and see it?
Yeah, they're right towards the end. You can hit it with a Dremel is what I did, I believe.
Okay. All right. Well, that's easy enough to do then. Shouldn't be a problem. But if I have to do that, I'll do a little video showing doing all that stuff too. But hope not.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I mean, I could help you put it in there too, Marty, if you want to. I've dealt with them a little bit, so.
Good deal. Yeah, you can help me do the video, man. You can guest star in the video.
Well, I've got another guy that wants to do a video on an Apex trigger that he just bought also, so I might want to hook you up with that too.
Okay. What do you get a trigger for?
His Smith & Wesson.
Okay.
And he wants me to do the install on it. So
I've got the one for my Glock. Okay.
Yeah, we need to do a video on that also.
Is that an Apex trigger in the Glock?
Yeah, it's just their standard Glock Apex trigger. The flat.
I have not tried the Glock version. The M&P version's nice.
Okay.
Oh, I love that red flat face forward set. Oh, that's money.
We installed it at the Trigicon Challenge, and we got to shoot it a little bit up there, and it was pretty good. The ammo that I was using, I had some reload ammo, 40 ammo that I was using, and it wasn't cycling real good, so I got frustrated, and after about 2 magazines, I was like, screw it, I'll try it later. So I need to take it out and try it again. Very cool. So another big announcement that we've got is Talking Lead is now a part of Gun District. So go to gundistrict.com and make sure you subscribe to the Talking Lead LLC page. And I don't really know what I'm doing at Gun District. As you guys are probably not surprised, I can't even work Instagram. But I'm figuring it out. But I've got 2 pages. I've got just a Talking Lead page that I guess is just like my personal page. I don't know. And then I've got the Talking Lead LLC page set up. So, do you guys, either one of you familiar with Gun District?
I am just a little. I got on there last night trying to dabble around with it to see if I could figure it out. And it's got some neat features to it. There's obviously a lot of gun lovers on there. It's pro-gun. Yeah. That's the great part about it.
So in response to Peter and I's request last week for a more gun-friendly Facebook-type social media, all you lead heads, and thank you for sending us the links to and telling us about Gun District. So I went ahead and signed up there. We're going to try it out. So all you lead heads, go to Gun District and sign up, like our page, shoot us a message. Are we in a submarine?
Sorry, I'm sitting here at work, and apparently someone thinks we work at 7 o'clock at night here.
Oh, is that a phone ring? That's cool.
Yeah.
That sounded like sonar in a submarine. That was cool.
Live from my bunker.
There you go. Jesse also owns a nuclear submarine.
It's the Ford.
Hey, is that next? Is that next to the Ford and the Mercedes?
Yeah, that's it.
Okay, just checking. I just want to make sure there.
He's got it docked out back.
You wouldn't get too far in Oklahoma in a submarine.
Probably not.
All right, so what did you guys do this week in guns or firearms or gear, or what'd you do that was just fun?
Man, I've been the recipient of a bunch of Class 3 stuff here. You know, you do that paperwork on all that, and then it just shows up.
Yeah.
And, so I've got a Silencer Co. Salvo 12, a new Osprey, a couple of 22 cans. I mean, I kind of went hog wild in the last year.
Did you set up one of those trusts?
I did. Well, I didn't do it. I probably should have, but I've got a trust for my personal belongings, like my house and cars and all that kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. I just put everything in there. And that may not be the way to go, but it was the easiest thing, so that's what I did.
Yeah. That's what everybody's telling me to do is set up a trust for your Class 3 stuff.
Yeah, you definitely want to have a trust, but I just don't know if you want to have two separate trusts.
Right. Yeah, that would be an attorney question, and I can't help you with that.
Yeah, the first gun I bought, I just did it. The old go down to the sheriff's department, do your fingerprints, wait for the sheriff to sign off. And now if I meet my maker, someone's got to transfer that thing completely different than all the rest of my stuff. So.
Yeah, or they just confiscate it.
That could be as well, yeah.
You know, and that's BS, and that's the whole reason why people are setting up those trusts is if you do kick the bucket, then the government can't come in and just take your Class 3 weapons. They go to whoever else is in the trust. It stays with the trust, basically.
Sure.
That's why old Shlama was trying to get those outlawed.
Oh, that makes sense. Yeah. It doesn't make sense, but I understand.
Well, it makes sense why you'd get one. It doesn't make sense why that jackwagon wants to outlaw them.
Exactly.
If they would just make them legal, then we wouldn't have to worry about it.
You know, I've been shooting with them. I've had a suppressor here for a few years, and it's been on a rifle I didn't shoot a lot. And now that I've got a few more of them, and I've been shooting like every time I go shoot, I actually went out before the show and shot my shotgun, and I forgot to put earplugs in because I've been used to shooting with suppressor. And that wasn't fun, obviously, once I cracked off that first round. But
I'll bet.
It is just so much more fun to shoot when you don't have to worry about hearing protection. You know, you just out there plinking, having a good time.
Yeah. It cuts down on the stress level, too.
Well, my neighbors definitely appreciate it, I'm sure.
Well, I mean, that's all the more reason why they should be legal. I mean, one, for your health. It definitely helps protect your ears. So it cuts down on ear damage, hearing loss for people, not only for the people shooting, but for the nearby people, too, who don't necessarily want to hear, you know, all the loud bang, bang, bangs going off. So then it gives you the opportunity to practice more and not piss off your neighbors.
I couldn't agree more.
I definitely need to get one because Troy Industries has them too, and I need to get one.
Yeah, really, who cares if you're out hunting with a suppressor?
State of Tennessee, it's legal. You know that, right?
Yep.
So.
Yeah, Oklahoma, they just passed that. I think last year you could hunt with it now. So all the coyote hunters, all that kind of stuff, are definitely running cans on all their 308s, 223s.
Well, it makes sense. I mean, if you're going to get camoed up and you're trying to descent and, you know, all that's legal, why wouldn't a suppressor be legal too? I mean, you're trying to stay quiet and concealed.
Yeah, I don't really know the history of that. Why they ever became, you know,
because murderers and assassins use them.
Yeah.
That's the argument you get from these boneheads that try to defend, you know.
Was there ever a time in the world where they were prevalent? Like, I mean, everyone had one on their rifle? Was it back in the 60s?
You never see any westerns with them.
No, they definitely didn't have them back then.
You don't really see any like World War I or World War II era type movies where they're using them. You see them in James Bond occasionally.
Well, now I don't know about that. World War I or World War II.
Yeah.
There's very select. There is a few, but in production, but they weren't mass produced for soldiers.
Well, I'm talking about seeing them in movies.
Right.
Seeing them in mass media type exposure. Yeah, you don't really see them.
The history on that stuff once before, and they were being produced, but not mass produced for soldiers. Only for the specialized soldiers, like secret. So I've got a question. Are you guys familiar with Ares Armor at all? Mm-hmm.
I know the name, but I'm not.
All right. So they've got this muzzle brake that's called the Breathe, and basically what it looks like is the inside baffles of a suppressor. It just doesn't have a can over it, and they've got all these disclaimers and things saying that it's not a suppressor, it's completely legal. We've done all these modifications to it, so you can't, convert it to a suppressor. Blah 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 blah. I don't get that. Why they have to go to all that trouble? If it's not a suppressor, it's not a suppressor. You know? But I got to researching it, and it's like, if it could be easily made into a suppressor, then it has to be categorized as a suppressor. Same thing with like like those AR pistols and the SIG brace thing that they've got going on right now.
Sure.
You know, that argument that they've got going on. But can't you take what are those oil cans that people, an oil filter?
Yeah.
Oil filters?
Can't you convert that and put that on your gun and make it a suppressor? Doesn't that suppress? So should those need to be NFA'd now?
Exactly. Well, I mean, it's the same thing like a lawnmower muffler. People were taking those at one point because there was a certain company that made one that the baffles on the inside of it was reducing the sound enough to silence it.
Wow.
I know.
I mean, so what? So what? You got a quiet gun now. Big deal.
Well, you can take a 22 and put a Coke bottle on the end of it with a little bit of water in it and get like 1 or 2 silent shots.
Or you could wrap a shirt around, and I don't know. It's ridiculous.
It really is.
So anyway, I ordered one of those Aries Breeze.
That thing does look like the baffle stack in a suppressor, though.
Did you look it up? It does, doesn't it?
Yeah. I like the F&A. I like the name on the other compensator they have.
I've got one of those too. Those are pretty badass too.
F&A, man.
F&A. But read all those disclaimers they've got on the Breathe. Since you got it pulled up there, Jesse.
Well, I'm going to pull it up now.
Wow, there's a whole letter to the ATF.
I know it.
Holy that thing's huge.
Yeah, you could put it on your 10.5-inch barrel and pin and weld it, and then it makes it a 16-inch.
Wow.
Yeah, really? Okay. Well, that's news to me.
No, read them out loud.
Oh.
Read them for our listeners.
It's got the legal definition of a silencer. Will the ATF determine this to be a silencer? So they're basically trying to cover their tracks. Like, if you buy this, it's not going to be outlawed.
Right. And if they do outlaw it, they're threatening to sue the ATF and blah blah blah. Of course, anybody who's familiar with Aries Armors know that they've got a history of trouble with the ATF with their 80% lowers and and other things like that in the past. And they've been prevalent. They've won so far, I think. They've been proven to be justified in all their sales so far.
I like part C. This device is intended to be aesthetically awesome.
I wonder how that thing would go in a 3-gun.
I think it would be a little long for the rules.
Yeah, probably. But I wonder if you could hide it with like some of your local matches when they don't really check all that stuff.
Well, if you did a 10.5-inch barrel and you pin and welded it on it, then it would be a 16-inch barrel.
Sure.
But for competition, why would you want to do that?
Well, I mean,
you wouldn't.
Just to look aesthetically awesome.
Yeah, exactly.
So to be aesthetically awesome. But the whole point of it is, I think, is that if you have the right ingenuity, you can make it a suppressor.
You could just throw a piece of pipe over the top of it, and it's a silencer.
Yeah, I don't know. I'll order one. So we'll see. I mean, I'm not going to. If the NFA's listening, BTAF's listening, I am not going to. Have no intentions of converting it to a suppressor.
Now, could you convert it to a suppressor and apply for a tax stamp on it?
Yeah, you could. You could do that. As long as you apply for the tax stamp for it. Just like an AR pistol, and you decide you want to put a buttstock on it.
Same difference, Form 4 type thing?
Right. You send in the forms and apply for it. But you can't use it until...
Oh, no, of course not.
Until your crap gets up. Yeah, exactly. Right.
You can't take pictures for Instagram, I think, though.
You can't. Just don't say you're using it.
Yeah, no shots fired.
It's kind of like the SIG brace. Don't shoulder the SIG brace.
Yeah. Now, what if you're wearing a puffy jacket in the wintertime?
There it is. A train's gonna.
Well, I posted a video. Yeah, there's the Orient Express.
There it is.
I believe the jack wagon train is early. How often do they run there in Oklahoma? About every 10 minutes?
Oh, just when I do a podcast.
Just when you do the Talking Lead show?
Usually, yeah, when I'm on my range taking a video or something, trying to do the talking.
Oh, no doubt.
Never fails.
But what I was saying is I posted a video of me shooting. I just recently built an AR pistol with a SIG brace, and I was at where were we at, Casey? The IV-888 YouTube shoot.
Yeah, a rack shoot.
And I was shooting it there, and it looks like I've got it shouldered, but I actually just have it up to my cheek. And immediately, I mean, once I put that up, people are starting just commenting like, oh, that's not legal. You're not supposed to do that. You're going to have the ATF, BTATF on you, blah, 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 blah. I was like, one, how do you even know? I mean, it's mine. It could be, the registered owner could be there. It could be registered as a short-barreled rifle, or I could have it, and I could have it registered as a short-barreled rifle. I don't, it's just a pistol, AR pistol. And then two, I mean, you can't tell how I'm shooting it. It's not shouldered. But that's my whole argument with that too, is just by somebody misusing what it was intended for doesn't change what it is. It's still an AR pistol, even though somebody's shouldering it or whatever they do with it. But the BATF is saying that changes the category of the weapon, which is ludicrous.
That was a real nice workaround there for quite a while. I've got a few of them in my safe, and they were...
Well, they're still legal to own. You can use them just as long as you don't shoulder it. You can put it up to your cheek. You can, shoot it like around your arm, wrap it around your arm. You could do old style German, from the hip. Stormtrooper shooting, Star Wars stormtroopers. That was for Peter Palma, by the way. Peter hates Star Wars. But I was getting into what you guys did with guns this week. So Jesse was in his submarine.
Yeah, so I've done a bunch of just me, usually at normal middle of the season I'm out shooting practicing. I don't really plink a lot. But like I said, I've got all these new hot fun suppressors, and I've got the Selvo 12, I got that Nordic Components 9.5-inch NC22 upper with a little Sparrow can on the end of it. Man, it's just so much fun. So
is that thing pretty awesome to shoot? I mean, I was just wondering myself.
Yeah, I actually had one of the original ones back in like 2011, and we used to have rifle matches here in Oklahoma City area. So we would shoot 22, and then I would shoot 223. You could do both, and it was so much fun. I've actually got like 6 or 7  50-round drum mags. So I'd load all those up the night before because they take forever to load. Go to the match and just shoot nonstop. But adding that can to that 9.5-inch gun, oh my gosh, it is by far the most fun firearm that I have right now. Just because it's so quiet. And it's light, short, cool.
And you can pop that on any of your lowers, right?
Yes, yeah. I mean, I've got an SBR lower because it's only 9.5 inches, so that's what it sits on. But yeah, I mean,
as far as compatibility goes, it's just like any other upper, AR upper. You just pop the pins, you put it on. Is there any other kind of conversions you need for that, or is everything just built into it? It's
just a blowback design, so all the spring and everything is inside the receiver. I bought one of those uber cool Law tactical folding stock adapters. Which for the 223 or 300 blackout, they come with this little extension to get past all the extra length in the buffer tube to make everything work. But with that 22, you don't have to have a buffer, so you can actually shoot it with the stock fold, just like you were saying, German style from the hip.
Yeah.
And there's no negative feedback from not having the buffer in there, so it's perfect for that setup.
Very cool. Yeah, the video that you did with the Nordic shooting in the pond there, was that a 50-round drum you had on there?
Yeah, exactly.
You just tore through that, man, and it was quiet.
It is
extremely quiet.
With subsonic ammo, it's ridiculous. It's so much fun.
Thought maybe you might be shooting your submarine guys down there. That's where you keep your submarine back there in that pond, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Casey, what'd you do this week?
Basically, I just went out and shot. Tried out some more of the ammo from my sponsor, Detroit Ammunition Company.
Yeah.
Went out and shot some more of it and tried to do some grouping and see how it was holding up. And their ammo actually does really good. And speaking of which, Jesse, they actually do subsonic ammunition. That's one of their specialties.
Nice.
A lot of guys seem to like that ammo. And, man, it's solid. I was actually pretty shocked. It actually runs really well through my Smith & Wesson. It's about, I don't forget how many, it's 940 feet per second. Gives me enough power factor for steel. And it cycles really well through the 9mm. So, I mean, it's solid. I like it. And the 223 holds pretty good. It's full metal jacket. I mean, it's not match ammunition. You know, when we go out, stretch out any further than 300 yards, you probably want something like a ballistic tip or something else. But, you know, it holds well for standard 55 grain full metal jacket ammo.
Cool. Did you go with Al and shoot some of that?
Yeah, I actually went down to Al's place and shot some of that stuff. We pulled out some more steel and done a little practice on some plate racks and all that stuff. So it was it actually holds very well.
Cool.
Nice. So you're using the 9mm subsonics for your gamer loads for 3-gun, huh?
Yeah, I mean, it really 940 feet per second. It does just fine.
Yeah. So are you one of these guys that like will stack their magazine, like you got the gamer loads for the paper, and then you know you got some steel coming up, so you're like, okay, I better put some 115s in here that are a little hotter.
No, I don't do any of that stuff. I just have to run with it all because most of the places that I've shot so far has been just, you know, basic. I don't know, 50 by 40 bays, you know, just basic areas. So if I'm going to go out further, I'm probably going to use some hollow points or something like that to get out a little further, some better ammo with a little bit more speed. So
probably going to need that.
Yeah, you just got to watch out for those heavy poppers. You run up against that, and there you are, double tapping, triple tapping, trying to rock it backwards. Like, oh crap, I'm in trouble.
Those LaRues or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Same concept.
But so far it's holding up really well, just for the small plate racks and stuff like that. So I mean, it's not really doing too bad. Now I do have some hotter loads that are pushing some pretty good power.
Is all they make is subsonic, or do they make supersonic too?
No, the 223 is supersonic. They do but they do subsonic.
I was talking about the 9.
The 9, as of right now, all they do is a subsonic.
Okay.
But they probably will do some special loads. I mean, I don't know. I can't speak for Ezio, so I don't know exactly what he will do.
Yeah. All right, so what do you guys know about ankle holsters?
I know
Not much.
Very little.
Very little? Well, I've had one now for, I think it was a Blackhawk. I think I had a Blackhawk ankle holster for the past almost 4 years, and it just broke the other day. And it was the little piece that has the plastic that when you go around your ankle, you loop it back around and then pull it tight. That little part came unstitched, I guess, from the main part of it. So I'm in the market for a new ankle holster. So if you guys have any suggestions, but it doesn't sound like you know much about them. So Leadheads, I'm turning to you. I need some suggestions on my next ankle holster for the Glock 27. So send me your suggestions via Facebook. Go to Facebook or Gmail if you're not on Facebook, because some of our listeners aren't on Facebook.
Jesse, are you sponsored by any like holster companies or anything like that? I can't remember.
I run Blade Tech Gear.
Okay, well, I do too. And I'm trying to remember if Blade Tech has ankle holsters.
I was just trying to Google that same thing.
That's what I'm sitting here doing.
They're definitely not.
Wait a minute.
They're definitely not popular in 3-gun.
Well, no. They should be, though. They should have a stage where you have to break out your ankle holster. Carry.
Well, I think IDPA has done some stuff like that at their little bug gun nationals. I know I've seen something similar. It may not actually draw from an ankle holster, but it simulates stuff like that. Real life scenario sort of thing.
That would be cool. That would definitely be cool.
I'm looking at their lists right now, and I don't see...
Not seeing any ankles?
I see outside the waistband, inside the waistband, and duty holsters. So I don't...
Duty. He said duty.
Yeah, duty. I'm not saying... Now, that's not to say that they don't make them, because I don't know. Because I don't know if... Sergeant Major Lamb from Viking...
Are they all kind of Kydex, Blade Tech? Are they all the hard plastic kind of stuff?
Yeah, they've got some leather back stuff, kind of like a crossbreed, but I think it's the leather. Hybrid. I think the leather's outsourced.
Okay, because the ankle holster's got to be soft material. You can't have that hard Kydex down on your ankle.
Yeah, Kydex is definitely their specialty.
Yeah, but I guess you could have maybe a leather backed Kydex, because that'd be against your flesh. It could be soft that way. I don't know. Any suggestions you Leadheads have? Send it to me. Where
do you run an ankle holster? All the way down at your actual ankle, or do you run it up by your calf, or what keeps it up? Just
depends. Just the tension, and then the shoe itself. So it depends on whether I'm wearing a boot or if I'm wearing a shoe to where it actually goes. But yeah, either the shoe or the boot will. I'm telling you, man, that jackwagon train is raring to go this week. We must have a full load.
Come on, ride the train.
You sure you're not in Colorado? That's the Coors Light truck or Coors Light train.
I wish.
You'd have a constant supply.
Yeah, probably. The train often stops here or slows down. I probably could get on there and get a few cases off if that was the case.
That would be awesome. That's Jesse's beer supply for the week, backing up. He's Coors Light train, backing up to his cooler.
Yeah.
Party at Jesse's. But the ankle holster, it has the tension, the wrap that you wrap around, and usually it's like a Velcro that will secure it after you've wrapped it. Just, I guess, the gravity of, how your ankle will spread out and be a little bit wider down at the lower part of your foot, right above the ankle. So that, I guess, kind of keeps it in place too. But I've never had any problem with it sliding up or down.
If you'll watch Viking Tactics, I don't know if it was Viking Tactics or if it was 511, Sergeant Major Lamb just done a video on concealability and places that you can do that. And I don't know if he mentions the name of the ankle holster that he had in the video or not.
Hey, Leadheads, Dwight Settle with Seal One. Just here to talk to you and tell you a little bit about our product. Seal One CLP Plus is a bio-based, non-toxic product. It comes in a paste, liquid, aerosol, and pre-saturated bore-specific patches called sealskins. They all do the same thing, just different methods of application. The best way to use our product is to start with a clean firearm. There's two reasons why I say that. First, you start with the Seal One CLP Plus by field stripping your firearm and covering the entire firearm inside and out, bore, barrel, everything with the Seal One CLP Plus. You'll see how easy it spreads around. You'll want to wait about 15 to 20 minutes. Then you come back and you want to wipe it all off. So you see how easy it is to put on and remove. And the second reason we say to use a clean firearm is you'll find that it's not clean. We're going to pull out more carbon that's been left behind with whatever product you've been using before. Okay, it takes about 3 cleanings. So I like to say a clean shoot, clean shoot, clean shoot. Just normal usage before the Seal One CLP Plus has removed whatever product that you were using before and has seasoned the firearm. It's kind of like breaking in a cast iron skillet. And after that first cleaning, you will notice a difference. And with each successive cleaning, you will find that it gets easier and easier to clean. Seal One CLP Plus is a dry lubricant and is designed to work as such. You will find that malfunctions are virtually eliminated when used properly, because the majority of all malfunctions are caused to carbon buildup. And with the Seal One CLP Plus, the carbon does not build up. Seal One CLP Plus is safe on all metals, plastics, composites, polymers, rubber, wood, and leather. Seal One CLP Plus is a one-and-done formulation. No other products are required or needed to clean and lubricate and protect your firearm. That's why we say Seal One and done. Seal One is a proud sponsor of the Talking Lead podcast and the Leadhead Brigade. Use the code LEADHEAD for a 25% off discount.
All right, guys. Casey had to unexpectedly take an emergency call, so he may or may not be back to join us. But this will be a good segue to get to our Jack Wagon of the Week.
Hoorah, Semper Fi, do or die, hold 'em high at 8th and I. It is time for the Talking Lead Jack Wagon of the Week, so brace yourself, baby.
Jesse, who is your Jack Wagon this week?
My Jack Wagon of the Week is the LA Police Department. I don't know if you saw the story. It actually happened a few weeks back, where Dan Bilzerian, the actor / Instagram playboy, he was out of town and someone broke into his, I guess he lives in Hollywood or somewhere over there, broke into his house, tried to steal all those guns he shows off on Instagram all the time.
Right.
And
somebody actually tried to jack him?
Yeah. I mean, he shows pictures of that room he's got there, and it's obviously a safe room full of guns. You're probably not going to get in there without a tank.
Right.
And so someone broke in. They didn't, I don't know that they got anything, but the police show up, and the story says that they confiscated 9 of his firearms after the burglary. The burglary was in September. And the reason they did so was to make sure that no one could come back and get those. So he must have had these like in a closet or in his nightstand or something.
Yeah. What?
Yeah.
They confiscated them so nobody else could come get them.
I'll read it verbatim. The officers told my assistant that they took the handguns because they didn't want the suspects to come back and get them on a second break-in, even though they were unsuccessful at opening the steel-reinforced doors the first time.
Okay. Essentially,
they were trying to protect my property and people's safety. He said, this is hard to grasp when they left my $21,000 FN Scar 17 with thermal optic and shotgun unsecured in the same room.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
Did he get them back? I'm assuming he did.
Yeah, that's the kicker. He got the firearms back, but he claims that there was ammunition along with them that he has yet to see.
Okay.
So he didn't get the ammunition back with the guns.
Like, he's not going to be able to go buy more ammunition.
Yeah, true. But it's the principle of it.
So they probably took the ammo out and just disposed of it for safety.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Oh my gosh. So did he sue them or anything?
I have not seen anything like that. I would assume
I've not heard that story. That's a good story.
It's probably not in his best interest to sue the police out there.
No, but they had his best interest at heart. It's like, you know what? Dude's probably out of town for a month or 2 months or something. He's traveling.
Oh yeah.
Like, you know what? These guys may come back. They may find these. Apparently they were just out somewhere, not in his safe, outside of the safe.
Well, if you follow his Instagram, he's got a Scar 17 or Scar 16, whatever it is, sitting, like it hangs above his bed. And there's just pictures of like scantily clad women laying in the bed and the firearm right above it. So it may be that one that they didn't take. And it sounds kind of bizarre.
Okay. But did the thieves get anything?
It does not say that they did. I don't remember the original story, but I don't think they were successful in getting into the safe.
Okay. But the police were successful in taking his.
Yeah, I guess so.
In stealing his firearm. I wonder if they actually, the reason there was no ammo in them is they shot him.
That's what I would have done. I'm not going to lie.
They're like, these are cool ass guns. Let's go to the range and shoot them.
Yeah, he's got a ton of full auto stuff. I mean, I'm sure you've seen his videos of him shooting his.
I really haven't.
Oh man, he's one of the most entertaining guys on Instagram, especially if you're into gambling, guns, and women.
Gambling, guns, and women, my kind of guy.
Yeah.
And his name is Dan Brazilian.
Bilzerian, Bilzerian.
Bill, is that a real last name or is that a made up last name?
That I don't know. I know he's been in some movies as an extra or kind of the off key bad guy. Yeah. He'll usually get whacked pretty early in some of the movies I've seen him in, but he's a big big poker guy. The rumor is that his dad left him a bunch of money, so he's
that's right. Yeah,
wealthy, and he's just a playboy and gets to do all the stuff that most single men would die to do.
Right. That's where I've heard his name is through the World Series of Poker, I think.
Yep. Yeah, he's big. He'll always have Instagram pictures in Vegas with just stacks of $10,000 chips, $100,000 chips.
Yeah, because that's my dream. Like if I ever win the lottery and get millions and millions of dollars, is I'm gonna play Texas Hold'em.
That would definitely be a good way to get rid of it, or double it.
Yeah, but the way I play poker, I would have to be a multi-millionaire because I would be losing all the time. So that's the only way I'd be able to go and play Texas Hold'em.
It's just like anything; it takes practice.
Yeah. Well, I've been playing for 10 years now, and I still suck. Oh well, man's got to know his limitations. I think I know mine.
You guys have a lot of casinos up there in your neck of the woods?
No, man. Tennessee, we don't have any casinos here. Now, just up the road a little bit in Indiana, there's casinos. That's about a 4-hour trip, I think.
Oh, wow.
And then we could head on down to New Orleans and do a little gambling down there. Or we just jump on a jet plane and hit Vegas and be in Vegas in, 3-4 hours. Southwest Airlines, baby.
Shot show.
Yes, sir. I love the craps tables.
That gets ugly.
It does, but it's fun. That's actually one gambling game that I'm good at. I am good at craps.
That is tough. I actually read a book to try to learn how to play it. We went on a trip to Vegas one time, and that was the goal was to play craps the whole time. And man, you've got to be willing to go deep into the wallet, and you've really got to know what to bet on.
You've got to start off playing like a novice. when you first start off. You just bet the line. Don't do all those extra field bets and all that crap, because that's where they take your money.
True.
The odds are playing the line. If you play the line, build your stack up, and then once you get up, then sparingly play out in the field a little bit. Then that's how you do it. What I always do is I just play dumb when I'm there, and the freaking I don't know if they're called the dice people. They're not dealers. I don't know what they call them, but they'll tell you what you need to do.
Sure.
And it's like if you're doing something that's stupid, they're like, no, you don't want to do that. Just act like you don't know what the fuck you're doing, and they'll take care of you.
Gotcha. there is a lot to bet on. It's a game, that's for sure.
It is. I mean, there's a blue bazillion ways for you to throw your money away on craps, but it's one of next to blackjack. I think you get the second best odds in the house.
Yes, that's true. It's definitely fun, man. It gets exciting when people are winning. It's a party.
Oh, no doubt. I love it. So you're going to SHOT Show?
I am. Yeah, I've been going for probably 3 years now, kind of since I turned into a pro.
Yeah.
So
let's talk about that. Let's talk about Jesse Tischhauser's journey into the competition shooting world. So how did you get involved with all this?
Well, I started shooting competitively in 2009. I actually used to work in the oil field here in Oklahoma, and I shot a little, a knockoff IDPA match. And it's the first time I ever did any action type shooting where you run around and you shoot some more. And I was ecstatic. It was the most fun I'd ever had shooting. So I started talking to some guys at work about what we were doing at this indoor IDPA match. And they said, oh, that sounds like USPSA or IPSC. I was like, well, what the hell is that? So I jumped on the computer, started Googling, and lo and behold, we've got a gun range here in Oklahoma called Oklahoma City Gun Club. And it's one of we probably got 2,000 members there. It's ginormous. We take up a whole section of land.
Wow, that's huge.
Yeah. So they've got a match every month, and I went out there, like the next weekend, shot the match, and that was kind of the end of it. 6 months later, I found 3-gun and started shooting that. And
it was all over from there.
Yeah, man, I sucked terribly, and I love shooting, and I didn't want to continue sucking, so I practiced and learned more and watched YouTube videos and basically just, kept trying to get better and better and better through shooting. So
yeah. Just like you said, that's really the only way to get better at something is to keep practicing, keep doing it.
Yeah, I mean, I've always been a gun guy. My dad was he was a Vietnam vet. He always had firearms. He had a FFL. He collected guns. I mean, second I could pull the trigger, I was pulling the trigger. I went off to college, lived in the city, and never really shot for about 10 years. Had a couple firearms, but probably didn't even have ammo for half of them. And did some sporting clays type stuff because the oil field down here is big on sporting clays. It's like golf for those guys a lot of times. And that was fun, but I mean, you shoot a few rounds of sporting clays and it gets a little monotonous, same old. And the action shooting stuff, that's one of the most exciting things of it. It's always different. You're never shooting the same thing over and over again like you would with bullseye or trap or skeet. So, man, I've been hooked. I guess I finally got to the point this year where I'm almost sick of trying to get better.
No, that's called complacency, man. You don't want to get complacent.
Yeah.
So how long have you been doing it now? 4 years?
Well, yeah, I guess I would say I turned pro in probably about 2012, 2011. That's when I started traveling the country, started seeking sponsors, trying to get paid to do it. And I shouldn't say get paid. I should say trying to stop losing money doing it.
There you go. Spend somebody else's money.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Well, that's cool. So we had this discussion a few shows back. I can't remember who was on with me, but we were trying to determine at what point determines that you're a professional. Like in other sports, there's a clear defined, you're either an amateur or you're a professional. How is it in the shooting world, 3-gun competition? What determines that?
Well, it's always kind of a topic of discussion. I mean, obviously you got guys like Jerry Mikulek, Rob Latham. Those guys are professional shooters. They may represent a company and do some sales work or SHOT Show appearances, that sort of thing, but their primary goal is to win matches and get paid doing so.
Yeah.
In 3-gun, there's a company or organization called 3-Gun Nation. They've been around since about 2010, 2011. 3 years ago, they created a TV show. Well, they've had the TV show the whole time, but they created the 3-Gun Nation Pro Series where you had to qualify, and then the show was based solely around these top 50 guys and top, I think it's 10 women that qualified to be on the TV show. And so that in 3-Gun, there's actually a distinct line. If you want to be a qualified pro, you've got to qualify for that TV show and shoot on that series.
Do they only allow so many, or how does that work?
Yeah, the first year I think it was like 32, and now they bumped it up to it's like 56 or something to that effect. And
this is all through the 3-Gun Nation, so they kind of took it upon themselves to set the standard.
Yeah. I mean, It's changed every year because they're growing. They're basically like IPSC was or IDPA was 20 years ago. They just started. They have club series matches, like your local club there in Tennessee. There's probably one or two of them that are members of the 3 Gun Nation Club Series. So you can go out and shoot 3 Gun Nation match every month. And then they've got a regional series, which is 6 bigger matches, kind of like what you went to the Brownells Pro-Am, something similar to that, where guys will travel from all over the country to shoot them. You can earn your way to the Nationals at the end of the season, which is also the qualifier for the next season's Pro Series. And you can do that through the Club Series or the Regional Series. So
is it all based on points, or what is it? How do they base it?
The Club Series, you win like your club, and then you get an invitation to the Nationals. If you shoot the Regional Series and you finish in the top X percentile, you get an invitation. So this year there was probably 100 invitations sent out, and they took 16 of those 100 to the Pro Series. So the bottom 16 pro men lose their pro card, and then the top guys at the Nationals get their card back or earn their card for the first time.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, it's kind of cool. It kind of, like you said, we're always, there's a bunch of guys with logos and jerseys and all that stuff. And what really makes you a pro? I don't make my living shooting, but, I get paid to shoot. But having the Pro Series, you've actually got something to say, okay, I'm here and this guy isn't, or I'm not here and this guy is, and that's where I want to get to.
Now, do they have a ranking system? Like, this guy's number 1, this guy's number 2, this is number 3, or is it just the top 50 or whatever? I mean, we've got 50 people and they're professionals.
The first 2 years of the Pro Series, they did have a ranking system, because what they would do is we'd all show up, and it was actually shot here in Tulsa, which was great for me because I could just drive up the highway an hour. But, yeah, so, we all 50 would get together at the same match, and we'd shoot this made for TV type match. And then at the end of the year, we shot, I think, 4 matches. They would have a ranking based on your times and placements at all those matches. This year, they kind of changed things up. They changed the format completely, trying to make it a little more TV friendly. Mm-hmm. And what they did was they kind of copied the format of American Ninja Warrior.
Okay. I'm not familiar with that either.
Well, if you've never seen American Ninja Warrior I think it's on like NBC or something. It's mainstream.
I don't have like regular cable.
Gotcha. Well, it's basically what they do is unimportant, but the scenario is they set up these courses of fire, or they're like gymnasts almost, athletic dudes. They take these little courses and they run through them, and the fastest guy wins.
Obstacle course kind of things?
Exactly. Yeah, you climb ropes, you jump off stuff, you flip. It's pretty neat. They're pretty talented guys.
You gotta watch it. It's called American
Ninja Warrior. Yeah, it's pretty fun. I was actually DVRing it for a while there. But so they copied that format where they took the 50 guys and broke us up into, actually it was like 48 guys, I think. 8 groups of 6 or 6 groups of 8. And those 6 guys just showed up at one match. They do 2 per weekend. And so they had 4 dates. A group of 6 guys would show up and they filmed it all at night under the lights, all this cool stuff. And all of us shot the same exact scenario. And it was elimination based. So you shot the first stage, and 2 guys that were the fastest guys, they moved on to the next stage.
Okay.
The bottom 4 guys or 3 guys had to go to the eliminator, which was a small portion of that stage we just shot, which is usually the most difficult part, or the most entertaining for TV as well. And
right.
We'd shoot that, and then the best guy out of those 2 or 3 would move on. And then you go do the next stage. Same thing happened. The top 2 guys would roll on. The bottom guys would go to the eliminator. So there was always consequences every stage. It was, the stages were a little more simple, so you could see steel falling. If you've ever watched shooting on Shooting USA or some of the shooting shows, it's not always the easiest to see what we're shooting at or how we're running around through these mazes. Because especially if you've never done it, you have no clue.
Now, the show I'm familiar with is Top Shot. Yeah.
It's set up on the same premise where there's consequences every week. Someone's going home, these guys move on. And basically at the end of the season, the top 8 guys got to go shoot for $50,000.
Sweet.
Yeah, so.
Now, is that show still on?
3 Gun Nation, yeah. It actually, the season finale, the $50,000 show, just aired Monday night. So it'll probably air again this week sometime in the middle of the night or something like that.
I'll take it you've been on the show.
Yeah, I've been on the show.
You have to forgive my ignorance. I'm just getting into 3 Gun.
Yeah.
No, tell me about it. So
I was on the show this year, and I got knocked out in the second round of my episode, so I didn't get to go to the $50,000 shoot-off this year. But in years past, I've been in it. Haven't won the $50,000, but
so you get an opportunity to go back and try it each year.
Yeah.
You're qualifying.
Basically, what happened was the guys that got knocked out in the first round, the 2 guys that got knocked out in each first round, there was 8 of them, 8 rounds, 2 guys, so 16 people lost their pro card that night, and those guys had to requalify. So I made it to the second round, so I kept my pro card, so I just get to show up again next year and shoot.
Cool. Well, that's good.
Yeah, it's pretty fun.
So so 2010 you said is when they started that?
I think so, yeah.
Okay, so they're going in like their 6th year.
Yeah, back then what they would do is they would just come to big matches like the Pro-Am and they'd film guys. They'd just film shooters, they'd show the match. Yeah. And they've been evolving every year. It's changed every year.
Now is this isn't set up, is it set up reality style TV or is it set up more like, you remember the old Wild World of Sports kind of thing?
No, it's definitely not reality based. I mean, but it's not like Top Shot where they stick you in a house and they hope.
Yeah, and you're sitting there talking about each other and
Yeah. I tried out for Top Shot and I didn't make it because I wasn't a big enough asshole. I think
you weren't dubious enough, right?
Exactly.
You weren't conniving.
But they've kind of gone that route. They have us all mic'd up for the match and they set us all in one area and they instantly catch your reaction, everything that happens, and trying to make it more. I mean, because obviously reality TV is very popular right now, and they want to have things happen instantly. So it had some of that feel, but it definitely was all. I mean, it was us shooting.
Now, do they ever coach you and say, "All right, Jesse, on this stage, when you get done, we want you to do this"?
No, I pretty much knew what they wanted to see.
Okay. So you don't need coaching. You're a natural.
Yeah, well, you do it long enough, and I mean, obviously, excitement sells. So if you just, you shoot your stage, you do good or bad, you turn around and say, "Well, I'm just here for the fun of it." No one's going to want to watch that on TV. You've got to have some personality and some.
You got to have some pizzazz.
Yeah, exactly. So I actually, in my scenario, I shot like an asshole that whole match. I did really well, but I kept getting penalties, and one of them was kind of it was a very controversial call. Like I just stepped over a fault line and had a penalty, and it cost me from winning the stage to go into the eliminator. Yeah. And I proceeded to let out a slew of 4-letter words, and man, that was TV time for sure right there.
So this isn't live that they're doing it. It's actually recorded, and they can do all the bleeping and all that kind of stuff.
Exactly. They started filming last year, like in March. And then the episode started airing in June. And then towards the season, as the season progresses, they kind of catch up. So then there were like a month lag time between filming and airing. That's cool.
Now, do you guys get paid to do that?
We do not get paid to do that. You can win, obviously, and win money, but there's no payment to just show up.
Now, is it winner takes all, or do they have money for first, second, third, that kind of thing?
Well, this year, if you won your group, you won an Armalite rifle. And in years past, you would win like $5,000. But as you well know, the industry is kind of in a downturn this year. So there were less sponsors this year than last. So this year, there was no cash. Armalite kind of came through and was the primary sponsor of the show. And they put up rifles.
Dude, I'm telling you, the freaking industry should be booming. Now, maybe the AR industry's down a little bit. I can understand that. But there's so many people out there that own rifles and handguns now. The accessory business should be going through the freaking roof.
Yeah, you'd think that in ammunition. I mean, everybody and their brother owns an AR-15 and a pistol, and anything else they were scared they were not going to be able to buy.
Yeah, exactly. Anything else Obama threatened to take away.
Yeah, I mean, I helped people buy guns nonstop because they couldn't find an AR-15 when they wanted to get one, and they decided they needed
that Jack Wagon has been the best thing to happen to the gun industry in decades.
Yeah, it's crazy. Heck, that's the first AR-15 I bought was when he got elected.
Was it really?
Yeah, back in like 2008. It was the only thing I could find was a Smith & Wesson M&P 15R, which was the 4.5 by 39, 5 point.
Oh, yeah. But you're like, hey, what the heck?
Yeah, ammo was cheap.
Yeah. So let me just kind of integrate our questions in, our first time guest questions. I don't know if you've listened to any of the shows where we've done it, but you've kind of answered the first one. Is your father was military, former military, and he had a lot of firearms. What's your earliest recollection of shooting a firearm?
I would go to work with my dad. He worked at a feed mill, and they would have mice and rats and stuff running around there. And he had, I forget the brand of this air rifle, but it was like 22 long rifle lethal. I mean, you'd pump that thing up 9 times, and I couldn't do it. I'd have to have him pump it. It was so hard.
Yeah.
Forget the name of that thing, but I would shoot rats all day long at work with him.
So you were their exterminator, huh?
Yeah, that's probably the earliest recollection. And then, after that I would hunt. Man, I would sneak whatever firearm I could get out of the safe or the closet, and I would just walk around for hours in the woods and just destroy anything that moved.
That's cool. What's the first firearm that you could call your own that you owned?
That I purchased? The first gun that I actually purchased.
Well, or maybe somebody gave you a gift, but it was your gun. You could say, this one's mine.
Well, it was my slug gun for hunting deer. It was a 12-gauge Ithaca Model 37 with a deer slayer barrel on it, and I still have that one.
Do you still use it? Do you go hunt with it?
I have not hunted with it. Now you can actually hunt with rifles back where I grew up, so I haven't hunted deer for a long time since I moved out of Wisconsin, but I've taken it out and shot it a few times here and there.
Do you have children?
I do not.
Okay. I was going to say it would be an heirloom. It could be an heirloom to pass down.
It'll probably end up with one of my nephews someday. They both are. I've got two nephews back in Wisconsin that like to hunt. Actually, last year I went up and hunted with a niece and a nephew. That was so much fun. Yeah, this year I'm like, hey man, let's get us a good deer lease this year. I'll help with the money, blah blah. And then the kids are right at the age now where they're like, well, maybe I want to play basketball or wrestling or so.
They've got other interests now.
Yeah, now that I wanted to go hunting, they're kind of like, yeah, we're not going to do it this year.
Yeah, screw you, Uncle Jesse.
Yeah, exactly.
I got a girlfriend.
Exactly.
Do you have any law enforcement or military background?
I was in the Army National Guard for 9 years.
Okay. During what time frame? Did you see any active duty?
The only active duty I saw was state active duty. I was an 88 mic truck driver. So there was 2 summers where we got called up for tornado assistance. And then this is the craziest how lame the National Guard was back then. But we got activated for about 3 weeks to haul hay for the drought-stricken farmers of Oklahoma.
Are you serious?
Yeah. And state active duty.
Haul hay.
Yeah, it was terrible because, our trucks hadn't been like heavily driven for years and years. They probably never had been. And we would lose 2 trucks a day. I mean, it was nonstop. The mechanics were just pulling their hair out because it was just a truck on the highway between here and I think we were going up somewhere in Kansas and picking up hay up there and driving it down to southern Oklahoma. But there was just scattered 5-ton tractor trailers all along the highway between here and there.
Did you ever go overseas for anything?
I did not. I was in between, I joined when I was 17 in high school and I got out in 2000 or 2001. So it was like 92 to 2001, I think it was.
Yeah.
It was right in between all the stuff all the good stuff that was happening.
So what kind of trucks did you drive?
The 5-ton, I forget the nomenclature on them already, but it was the 5-ton, the 6-wheel drive.
Yeah.
Light medium duty trucks, I think they call them. I don't think they're.
Did you have to work on them?
I did not, thankfully.
No doubt, man.
It's bad enough to have to do PMCS stuff.
What kind of firearms exposure did you get while you were in the Guard? Any?
Yeah, I was. We had 50 cal M2s on top of our lead truck and our rear trucks. We had those. We had 60s, and then probably a few years before I got out, we actually started getting the saws.
Sweet.
Yeah, I didn't get to shoot those very much. And then we also had basically the M2 version of the grenade launcher. So we had the semi-auto grenade launcher on one of the trucks. Got to shoot that once or twice. Mostly with just smoke grenades. Actually, only with just smoke grenades, but.
Only smoke grenades?
Yeah. Still cool enough. The M2 is by far the coolest firearm that I've ever shot, even if you're just shooting blanks, practicing nets or whatever the heck that was. But yeah, so much fun to just fill that cab full of freaking 50 brass, shovel it out at the end of the day. When no one's shooting back, that's fun.
So when it comes to pop culture, what is your go-to book, magazine, movie, song, video game, whatever it may be?
Man, pop culture, probably Facebook, I mean, I subscribe to a few magazines still, gun magazines, but that's about it on the magazine side of it.
Mm-hmm. What's your favorite magazine?
3 Gun Nation magazine, of course.
3 Gun, they have a magazine, okay.
They do, yeah. If you sign up for, I think it's $40 or $45 a year, you get a membership number and a bi-monthly subscription to their magazine.
Man, I'm learning all kinds of good stuff from you today, so I'm writing that down too.
I actually do some writing for those guys occasionally here and there if they need like 10 words or less. Yeah, but as far as that, I mean, TV shows, I watch nothing really pop culture wise. HBO and some of those high speed drama series that they have out now. But
I'm trying to think on HBO if they've got any. They had one a while back. It was Generation Kill. Did you ever watch that?
I did not.
That was a pretty good HBO original series that they had out.
The big series I just finished was Justified off of, I guess it was on FX.
The Raylan Givens dude?
Yeah, man, that was great. Heck, that was kind of your neck of the woods.
That's hilarious because the guy that I went bounty hunting with today just got him a new hat. And it looked like Raylan Givens' hat. So I was calling him Raylan the whole day.
I love that show. I mean, other than the terrible form they had with the gunplay, but I mean, it was good.
Yeah.
Lots of shootouts, and
So is it actually over now?
Yeah, this year was the final season.
The final season? Okay. Because I watched like the first 3 seasons.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, I watch it through the internet, and the site that I was watching it on got busted, I guess. So, so I couldn't watch it anymore. I got so far behind. I need to get caught up on it, though.
Sure. That's what I did. I downloaded them on my iPad, and when I traveled to matches, I'd watch 2, 3, 4 episodes as flying here and flying back.
That's awesome. Has there ever been a firearm that you've owned that you might be a little ashamed to admit to owning?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Well,
I don't know if I'm ashamed, but yeah, when I first got my concealed carry license, and it's funny because the competitive shooting just really sparked rejuvenated my interest in firearms. So I got my concealed carry. I turned into a full-fledged gun nut, and I purchased like 4 or 5 like Rossi 357 38 special revolvers, and I had them like in my car, in my desk, all over. And hindsight's 2020, but man, those were just
strategically placed everywhere.
Yeah, I had one everywhere I could think of. Needed some of those tactical walls,
There you go. Heck yeah.
But that was a pretty lackluster pistol. They work, but that's probably the most embarrassing gun that I had plenty of.
Okay. Do you still own those?
I do not. I upgraded. I went with the revolvers because my wife told me she liked shooting those because she could see how they would work and rotate, how to load them. And it just made sense to her. And I'm like, all right, I'd much rather have an M&P or a Glock, but whatever. And then as she shot some more, and she's like, actually, I don't like shooting these. They're really hard to hold, and you can't load them. And, all the reasons that semi-automatic pistols have taken over
they got long-ass trigger pulls and that.
Exactly. So then I sold all those and upgraded to Glock 17s and 19s and 23s and 26s.
So you're a Glock guy.
Yeah, just because when I started competing, that's what I used, the Glock 34, Glock 35. And they're just, there's so many parts for them, so many cool gadgets, sights, you name it. So that's what I used.
Right. That's kind of what I cut my teeth on. I started off with the Glock 22. That was my first semi-auto handgun that I could call my own, that I owned. And I just fell in love with them ever since.
Yeah.
I love Glock.
They're just.
Now, don't get me wrong. I like other handguns too. I like SIGs. I like, the H&K. I like the VP9. I've shot it a few times. A little too big though. It's not for my own personal carry. I wouldn't use one of those. I'll stick with the Glock for my personal carry. Use the 23. I'm a 40 guy. I'm that guy. I like the 40 round. That's just what I cut my teeth on. So,
sure.
But I like all guns, man. I like everything. I like all firearms, shotguns, rifles, you name it. Air guns, man. When I was at SHOT Show last year, was it Crossman? Crossman had a 357 air gun.
Wow.
They were taking down big game with that thing.
Damn.
It was amazing. I know it. 357 air gun.
There was a TV show on a year or two ago. It was actually kind of half competitive, half hunting, and it was all about air guns. It was pretty neat.
Oh, really?
I learned a lot. Same thing. They had some big bore guns they were hunting hogs with and stuff, and I had no idea.
Didn't know they allowed them that big, for an air gun. But yeah, that's Crossman had those. I'm curious to see what they're going to be rocking this year. Bucket list. What is, before you leave this earth, what is the one firearm that you absolutely gotta have? Laws be damned, money be damned. What would you have?
Well, shoot, that's tough. The old 50 cal Barrett, definitely high on that list.
Yeah.
That or like a full auto MP5. Man, I've never shot a Barrett 50. I've shot, the M2 50 cal machine gun, which is, now that would be, if I could have one of those, but that's like getting one of those or something. I'd have one of those, or maybe the old M60 mounted on top of a Jeep or something, or a UTV, and just drive around my range and just fill the berms with lead.
Shit up.
Yes.
Mount it to your submarine.
Yeah, holding that butterfly and hitting the little handle. Oh man.
Yeah.
I would say that. Definitely something full auto for sure. But the
G minigun.
Oh, well, I forgot about that. I've never shot a minigun. They had one at the range up in Tulsa there where they had the Pro Series, USSA it's called, United States Shooting Academy. And the owner's a big class 3 guy. He's got a collection that it's huge, I'm told. But he had a minigun there, and you could rent 100 rounds or whatever it was for $100 or something to that effect. And every now and then you'd be out there setting targets, and you just hear, whoa. And I never made it over there to shoot the damn thing before they took it down. So, one of my bucket list things would be is those A10 Warthogs is
to shoot one of those 30 cal machine guns out of one of those as I'm coming down on an ISIS camp or something.
Oh my
and
God.
Just unload one of those. Though, I mean, just hearing those things on TV or in the movies is just scary enough.
Yeah, just cutting stuff in half. You know,
I mean, can you imagine actually in real life either being in that plane or down on the ground where it's shooting and hearing that? I mean, I'd probably just die of a heart attack.
Yeah, depending on which end you're on that situation.
Right. I mean, I would die of a hard-on shooting it, or I would die of a heart attack being shot at.
You just pass out. You pull the trigger until your blood all rushes from your head.
That's right. Oh, love it. That would be like bucket list thing for me to do right there.
Oh, especially being in an airplane like that. Oh yeah.
Yeah, that would be phenomenal. Or doing a Harrier jet. I would love to fly a Harrier jet also. Do a VTOL, vertical takeoff and landing.
Gotcha.
Those things are awesome too.
Yes.
All right, back to the real world. What's your next practical gun that you're going to get?
Well, it's probably another pistol.
Or just fun gun that you want to have.
Well, I'm like I said earlier, I'm kind of addicted to the whole suppressor thing right now, and I'm still lacking a good 300 blackout. So, I need something there. One of my sponsors, Rhino Arms, they're my rifle sponsor. They teamed up with this company called Liberty Suppressors, and they make a PDW gun that is fully integrally. I can never say that word right.
I'm the same way, man. Silencer Co. came out with that integrally graded.
Yeah. Basically, the silencer is part of the barrel. One tack
right.
gun.
It's all one gun.
So they've got a 16-inch 300 blackout.
It's going to be integrated?
Yeah, they had it at SHOT Show last year. It was awesome. And I don't know if you're familiar with Rhino, but they do a lot of cool high-end billet receivers, carbon fiber handguards, just neat stuff.
Writing them down too.
That is one of the coolest guns I saw last year at SHOT. And
you know who's making a 300 blackout, don't you?
I do not. Well, everybody.
Another one of your sponsors.
Oh yeah. Nordic said they were going to be making something.
Yeah.
That's interesting because, like you Leadhead's probably heard on the show, they've made OEM parts for a bunch of big companies for a long time.
That's right.
Usually you don't see Nordic Components rifles, but I actually have, I think, 2 lower receivers that say Nordic Components on the side. And they would typically give that stuff out at matches as prizes. You know, they don't. I guess in the past they didn't want to compete with their customers, so they never made rifles.
Right.
They just made parts and stuff that, you know, the other companies didn't sell. And I don't know, for one reason or the other, they're going to start making their own rifles. And I guess why not? Everybody else is, right?
Yeah, they're like, you know, we're basically making them anyway.
Yeah, so
why not just go ahead and start putting our name on them?
It was cool though. They used to do some neat stuff. They would anodize them like bluish colored, like their logo, and they'd have them on the prize table. So it was like this one of a kind Nordic Components rifle that you could never purchase, but you could win it. So those were always really popular at matches. Yeah.
Yeah.
So the next rifle or next gun I'm going to get is either that gun or I've got some Infinity pistols on order that should be here in the next 6 to 8 months.
Now, what's an Infinity pistol?
Are you familiar with STI?
Yes.
STI. Well, back in the day, STI and exactly, and those are cheap compared to an SVI. You could Google it and look on Wiki and it'll explain the difference between the two companies. Basically, you've got STI,
and one Texas.
Yeah, both are in Texas. They originally were the same company. Same 2 or 3 guys started the companies. And at some point there in the early history of STI was a competition shooting gun company, and SVI and STI broke off, and basically STI became what they are now, and they mass produced competition oriented guns in 1911s, double stack polymer frames.
Right.
And
are they doing 2011s also?
Yeah, STI patented the 2011. Okay. SVI makes the same sort of gun. They both had the patent on that double stack 1911, whatever that patent was, double stack 1911 frame. That was, I guess, the grip was different pieces. I don't know what the patent actually says, but basically they make the same thing. Well, STI went down the road of mass production, and SVI went down the road of custom built pistols. So for the last 20 years, they've been custom building pistols. You know, you order one, they build it. There's one guy that builds every pistol. So they're very, they don't make a lot of guns a year. It's about a 12-month wait to get one.
And they're very expensive.
Yeah, they're about, I would say probably 20-30% more than an STI would be, but I mean, they're 20-30% prettier and better trade.
More rare.
Yeah, I mean, every gun is, if you want it, you can think of it, they'll build it. So it's like building a Wilson Combat, but getting it, customized the way you want Wilson Combat to build it. So
So do you want to get one of those?
Yeah, I've actually got a single sec 1911 on order. I actually used to have all STIs, and I got hooked up with SVI. Just it was one of those things where I was like, all right, I want the next step, and that was it. Mm-hmm. And ordered some. I've got 4 of them now. And if you
follow, these are going to be competition guns.
Yeah, everything's always got a competition use. That's my excuse.
Yeah. tax write-off, right?
Yeah, there you go. So if there's a division or a scenario or whatever that I need it for, I can justify buying it, even if it costs $4,000. So
yeah, the wife's behind you on it because it's part of your profession, right? You need it. You need it to be successful.
I'm not going to lie; she's never behind that, but.
I thought you were going to say she's one of those cool chicks. She's behind you 100%.
No, she doesn't really care, but at the same time, she cares. It's kind of like
it's money, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So I've got one of those on order, and I'm contemplating. It's like I said, it's a 12-month wait, so you kind of have to order one like every 6 months. So you always got a new gun coming in.
There you go.
But it's hard to sell. It's hard to sell one. But the hard thing is they they build a few thousand pistols a year or so, and they've got a Facebook group and you follow they'll post pictures of the new guns that somebody built, and you're like, oh man, that one looks so much better than one I was going to build. So you're like, yeah, you email Brandon like, hey man, I'm going to change the look of mine. You see that new sight you just did, or that new slide, or that color, or whatever it was. Let's do that. And a week later, he gets back. She's like, okay, we'll talk to you again next week.
Yeah, and you never get the gun because you're always changing it.
Well, it only takes them maybe a month or so to build the gun, so you have time. And actually, I was really surprised. You can custom pick your serial number.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah, I've actually got – they make a really cool gun. It's a black DLC finish, and then they titanium nitride the barrel and a bunch of other parts. So you've got these – it's kind of ghetto looking. But at first I thought it was really gaudy and ugly, but then it kind of grew on me.
It grew on you? Yeah.
And people are always taken back by it because it's so different. And I showed the picture of something similar to my wife. I'm like, man, I need to pick a serial number. And all the other serial numbers I picked were kind of 3-gun oriented.
Yeah.
And she's like, panty dropper.
Penny dropper. You're like, thanks, honey, but yeah, that's awesome.
So that's what that black and gold pistol is the panty dropper.
The penny dropper. That's awesome, man.
It's actually
the hardest. Post pictures of your guns when you get them? You post them up?
Oh yeah. It's all over my Instagram page and Facebook. If you dig into the albums and stuff, but it's really hard to pick a serial number because you're like, okay, this is going to stick with this pistol, and if I ever decide to sell this pistol, who's going to want to buy the panty dropper?
Everybody.
So that kind of figures. A lot of people use their name, and then I'm not a big fan of selling guns, but eventually it happens.
Yeah.
So then who's going to want to buy the Joe Smith gun? Joe Smith 1. I think you can have.
It depends. If you're Jerry Mitchell.
There you go. Yeah. That actually would be a good serial number.
You probably add an additional $1,000 to the price of the gun.
It's true. I thought about that, and I don't know if it would be a compliment or embarrassment if I did some of that myself. I may never sell it.
You're kicking ass right now in 3-guns, so might ought to get a couple with your name on it as the serial number.
I thought about it. I mean, you can put logos. They'll do anything you want.
You can always put Talking Lead on there.
There you go. A lot of companies will do that. They'll put their company name or something similar to that on there, and it works out well.
Yeah, I mean, who doesn't like Talking Lead? Yeah.
It is actually a very catchy name. So, have you seen that? Cool. There's that episode of Shooting USA. They go and tour the Hollywood gun store. It's this company that does nothing but make cool guns for Hollywood and makes them only take blanks and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
it's pretty neat. I mean, that place was ginormous. You would not. I mean, they're all fake guns. I mean, they were real at one point, but then they reconvert them awesome.
They make them movie safe.
Yeah, exactly. Or they just make them fake. I mean, some of the stuff is just completely unrealistic. But some of the science
Star Wars guns and shit.
Exactly. There's like one place out there that does it all.
Oh, that's cool. And Shooting USA did a little tour of it.
They did. I don't know if you heard of the guy Taryn Butler.
Check that out. Yeah.
He's out there in Hollywood.
Absolutely.
If you follow him on Facebook, he does a lot of training with some of the stars.
Mm-hmm.
And I think he might have hooked that up.
All right, one more question, and then we're going to get into our fact to fight to myth. If you could spend the day at the range with anyone or any group, fictional, dead, still living, who would it be?
Well, I'm pretty performance focused, so I'd probably be a class with somebody teaching me how to run one of my guns better.
Mm-hmm.
And just because we were talking about him earlier, comes to mind is Kyle Lamb.
Kyle Lamb, okay.
You know, I mean,
Major Lamb.
Yeah, I've read his books, watched his videos. He's done some competitive shooting stuff to coordinate with the tactical stuff that he does, and I think that stuff dovetails together perfectly. You can never shoot too fast, no matter what you're doing. If you're shooting at deer, people, targets, whatever it may be, shooting faster is always a good thing.
Yeah, no such thing as too fast.
No, so I think he'd be a great instructor, and he seems like a pretty cool dude too. So
yeah, that was I think that was actually one of the people that Casey picked also, and of course Jerry, he picked him, and Casey Knutson with Nordic picked him also.
Yeah, so Jerry's a good guy to shoot with. I've actually got the pleasure to shoot with Jerry a bunch of times, so I couldn't pick him again.
Right, yeah, you've actually had that pleasure.
Yeah,
so.
It's funny you say Jerry. It may have been the first or second big 3-gun match I ever, left Oklahoma to go shoot. I was on his squad. And,
oh man, I bet you were intimidated, huh?
Oh man, well, I mean, yeah, no, I was. Every stage I asked him, I was like, Jerry, what choke you running your shotgun? What magnification you get your scope set at for this long stuff? Every stage, questions.
He's like, kid, here, I'm just going to write everything down for you.
It was pretty bad. He's a super nice guy, man. It's like shooting with your granddad.
That's what everybody says. I mean, and that's what I've noticed everybody in this industry, especially the 3-gun, when I go to these competitions, everybody just seems like they're more than happy, willing. It's almost like they want to talk to the new and up-and-coming guys and give them tips and tricks and pointers. I've even seen them let them run their gear, their equipment.
Oh, for sure. I've kept an extra set of stuff around, obviously as a backup, but I mean, I'll loan out my stuff nonstop to people.
Yeah.
It's just
great community.
Misery loves company. That's one thing. I started, 2009, so that's 5-6 years ago. Mm-hmm. And I was 32, 33 years old. And man, if I could have found this when I was 20, 21, 22 years old, talk about waste of 10 years not shooting stuff I really, really enjoy. Of course, I might not be able to afford all the ammunition I go through nowadays back then, but
that's true. And I don't guess it was around back then either, was it?
Yeah, they've had 3-gun since they used to have Soldiers of the Fortune matches back in the late 80s, early 90s.
Yeah.
But, it was really small, and it was definitely a different game as it is now.
Right.
But
definitely becoming more pop culture, more commercialized. Sure.
Heck, when I started in 2009, there wasn't a match in Oklahoma. I drove to Fort Smith, Arkansas, 3 hours to shoot my first ever match, and I actually got to shoot with Taryn Butler on his squad, my first match ever.
Very cool.
It was kind of a regional thing, and man, my stuff was so jacked up. I had like a UTG scope riser on my Trijicon scope. It wasn't the right height because I had no idea about mounting scopes, so I couldn't even rotate from 1.25 to 4. I had to I couldn't do it on the clock.
You had to stop.
There was no throw levers. It was actually touching the pick rail on my rifle, so I had to crank it over. So bad.
You get a file and file it down.
Yeah. But there it was, Taryn Butler squad, and I was just seeing that dude shoot. I could not believe it. I'm like, I need to figure out how to do that.
You got to start somewhere, and that's what we tell people is just do it. These 3-gun competitions are open to anybody. So if you got a pistol, you got a shotgun, you got a rifle, get you some ammo and just go and worry about your gear later. Just go and do it, enjoy it, have a good time. And the gear will come as you get more experienced and more involved with it.
Exactly, and that actually kind of ties in with my fact to fight a myth.
Well, perfect. It's a good segue. So now it's time for our fact to fight the myth. Jesse, what have you got for us this week?
Well, like you were saying, I mean, I spend a lot of time on Facebook and gun forums and everything, and I'm a big proponent of the shooting sports, whether it's 3-gun, pistol, you name it. When it comes to coming to a match, you always see guys that hey, I'm interested, but I think I want to come watch first, or I'm not quite good enough. I need to practice before I come out. And
this guy, that's me.
You don't need to do that. I mean, when we all start, I'm sure there's some guys that start that are really good, but most of us that start are terrible. Compared to Jerry Micklick, we're all terrible. And, the first match I ever shot, I dropped magazines, I ran out of ammo, couldn't finish the stage, you name it. And all that was to me was, okay, I'm going to get better at this because I don't like sucking at anything. So, and it's fun. I mean, there's all kinds of guys out there that aren't ever going to be a pro shooter, but they enjoy having a reason to take their guns out on the weekend and run them. So that's my fact is you don't need to practice before you come shoot. Just come and shoot.
Yeah. But be safe.
Well, yeah. I mean,
know the safety, but yeah, just get your guns out of the safe, knock the cobwebs off of them, and go shoot them. That's what you got them for.
You do not need to practice first. Just come out and shoot. Know the safety.
They make ammunition every day.
Yep.
They're not going to run out of ammunition.
No.
They might run out of money, but they're not going to run out of ammunition.
Really, the only good excuse I can hear from anyone about not coming out to shoot a match is just expense. I mean, it's not cheap to burn through 100 rounds out of each gun and pay a match fee and drive and all that stuff. But if you can afford it, you've got the gear, you got the guns, come do it, man. You'll wish you would have done it years ago.
Exactly. Just don't buy that can of Skull for a month. See how much money you'll save there. Put that toward ammo. Quit buying your cigarettes. Quit buying your alcohol. Just sacrifice something for a month, something that's frivolous that you don't really need to survive, and put that towards your entry fees. Entry fees are cheap. I mean, some of them are like $20 just to go and enter some of these local contests. And then just, get your ammo. You don't need match grade ammo either to go, shoot your first match.
You do not. It is, man.
Just go buy some freaking Full Metal Jacket and go shoot.
Yeah, and like you said, man, if you don't have all the guns and gear, I've loaned out my stuff. I've loaned out my match guns at club matches more times than I can count. So if you need stuff, get on your Facebook, get on your local gun forum. There's somewhere to contact people that are at that match. There's somewhere they're talking about your matches locally to you. Get on there and talk to them, man. Like I said, misery loves company. If you were like, man, I don't have any shotgun caddies or I don't have any mag pouches, chances are there's a guy like me that's got 6 of everything because
he'll be happy to sell you one of his old ones.
I've done a lot of that too.
Because he's just won a new one, or one of his sponsors just gave him a new one. So
Exactly.
Yeah. Very cool. So that is a good fact to fight the myth.
Founded in 2012, IWI-US is the USA-based subsidiary of Israel Weapon Industries Limited of Ramat Hasharon, Israel. The IWI-US line of products includes the Tavor X95, the Uzi Pro pistol and SMG, the Galil Ace line of firearms, and the belt-fed Negev line of light machine guns. IWI's mission is to bring the highest quality firearms with real world-proven reliability to the U.S. commercial and law enforcement market. IWI-US are proud sponsors of the Talking Lead AK Corner and the Lead Head Brigade. Check us out at www.iwi.us and on social media under IWI-US.
All right, guys, that was a great fact to fight the myth from Jesse. Appreciate you bringing that to us today, Jesse. Now it's time for our trivia, and I know you guys are anxious to find out who won the Nordic Components MXT shotgun extension. And so what you guys had to do was, and we let this run longer than normal just so we could give everybody a fair opportunity, because I know a lot of people will download the shows and listen to them later, or they kind of binge listen. They'll wait a couple of weeks, 3 or 4 weeks, and download 3 or 4 shows and listen to them. So I think I'm going to start doing all my trivia questions that way from here on out, is to give you guys a couple of shows in between the questions. That way it gives everybody an opportunity to try to win some cool prizes like this Nordic Components MXT shotgun magazine extension kit. So you had to watch the video where Jesse is shooting the NCR 22RB 22 upper from Nordic Components. And that was kind of the answer to the question, is you had to tell them on their post what he was shooting. And obviously that was it. It was the 9.25 NC 22 RB. It's there in the title. So if you just went to the page, you didn't even have to watch the damn video to get the right answer. And then you also had to like their page, like the video, and then leave the comment with your answer and say Leadhead was here. I'm a little disappointed in you guys because we've only got about, I think, 16 or 17 people that actually took part. We should have had a whole lot more participation in this competition.
It might have been my mustache. I'm not sure. That might have turned people off.
I don't know, man. It's kind of a cool black Bart looking kind of stash there.
It was around Halloween. I was experimenting.
There you go. But the right, and all the people who were on there got the right answer. And we'll verify, but I'm pretty sure everybody liked it. I know this guy did. He's the winner. And Jesse, tell him who the winner is.
The winner of the Nordic MXT shotgun tube extension kit is Bobby Partida.
Congrats,
my friend.
Congratulations, Bobby. We appreciate you taking part. Get in touch with me via my Facebook page and get me your contact information. And we'll make sure to put you in touch with Casey Knutson over there at Nordic Components, and he'll set you up with whatever shotgun you've got for that extension. So congratulations, and thanks to everybody who took part. Appreciate you lead heads. And we still haven't got a winner for the Primek. Let me see where that video's at right now. You got to get 900, and we were only 50 away, I think, last show. Let's see if we're up. We might be giving it away today. Hold on. Oh, you guys are killing me. All right, it's only 874 views. We still need 26 more views before we can give away those videos. So the Primek Trivia Question Prize is still up for grabs. You guys can listen to the past shows to find out what you got to do to win that. Got it posted on Facebook page. But really cool. He's going to give you 3 videos of your choice, 3 videos from Primek. And you got to get that up to 900. I mean, it's only 900. Holy shit. You know, you'd think 10 of you could go put it in the loop and get it up to 900. Anyway. All right, Leadhead. So now it's time for this week's trivia question. And should be no surprise, it's going to be something related to Jesse. And we're going to make it something on his Facebook page. We're going to make it easy for you like we did the Nordic Components.
All right. I apologize for making you guys watch a video of me shooting 2 weeks in a row here. But what we're going to do is go to my Facebook page. It's facebook.com/Jesse Tischauser. It should come up if you just search it.
Watch Tischauser.
I don't think there's anyone else with that same name other than my brothers or my dad, so you should be good. Watch the video I've got pinned on top. It's called Empty Chamber Shotgun Speed Reload. Like the page, like my page, like the video, and then comment how many shells are thrown at me as well as the lead head was here.
There you go. So guys, pretty much just like the Nordic Components, go to his Facebook page, like it, like the video, and then leave your answer in the comment sections for that video and say lead head was here. And the winner is going to get their choice of an AR-15 double-speed load rifle molly pouch from Tac Shield, or you can get a pistol magazine pouch from Tac Shield. So your choice, winner gets that, and they also get...
I've got a Streamlight ink hat that I will send you, and I may be able to dig up some more goodies that are yet to be determined. My apologies for not being a little more on the ball here, but I'm sure I've got some more stuff from some of my awesome sponsors that I'll throw in that prize pack.
There you go. So you're also going to get a little care package from Jesse with some swag from some of his sponsors. Very cool.
We'll find you something good. There's plenty of logos on my shirt.
So we'll give you a couple of weeks on this one also before we announce a winner, and I'll be posting it on Facebook, social media. Make sure you go check us out on the Gun District also. That's a new social media 2A friendly place. So leadheads, go there. I'll be posting stuff there as well. I think you can link that to Facebook, so when I do post there, it'll automatically go to Facebook. But I'm still learning it, but I'll get there. Jesse, what do you got? What do you got coming up the rest of the year? You got any more matches or tournaments?
Nothing big. The season kind of ended for me here a few weeks ago, but I've got local matches. If you're anywhere in the Oklahoma, Texas, Arkansas area, you may see me at one of your club matches. Next big thing is SHOT Show, obviously. And then next season starts probably for me in about mid-May.
Mid-May. And do you already have something scheduled for that?
I do not. We're kind of waiting on the announcement of 3 Gun Nation Pro Series, when those dates are going to be before I start signing up for stuff that isn't 3 Gun Nation approved. So
I got you. When do they start filming the 3 Gun Nation?
Last year it was in March, but usually they kind of get their budget done at or around SHOT Show, get the sponsors lined out, and then they make their announcements. So usually February, mid-February, I would say. Okay.
Good deal. And obviously you're going to be a part of that as well, so people can watch you on the 3 Gun Nation. What station's that on?
It's on the Sportsman's Channel, as well as I think Blaze TV covers it as well, or carries it.
Okay. And then obviously they can go Google 3 Gun Nation, and the website will have everywhere you can watch it. And they probably got some videos on there too.
Yeah, they've got some past episodes. You can actually download them on carbontv.com.
Oh, okay. Carbon TV.
Just search 3 Gun Nation, and they've got links to everything on their website. It's actually got a bunch of info on there. So, or you can Google Jesse T 3 Gun, and you'll find anything and everything that I've ever done on the internet, good or bad.
Okay. Now, speaking of, where all are you? You're on Facebook and Instagram and Twitter and
I'm
YouTube?
everywhere, man. I'm a friend of mine called me the Howard Stern of 3-gun. So
He's everywhere.
I've got Facebook. That's probably the fastest, easiest way to reach me. I've got a website with all my sponsors and some photos and videos on there. I've got a YouTube channel. Instagram has been my latest and greatest craze, man. It's just full of cool pictures and none of the old talking about anything. It's just, here's a cool pic every 3, 4, 5, 24 hours type thing. So, like I said, you can find me on Facebook. I've got a athlete page or a professional page, and then I've got my personal page, but they're both open, so you can see everything I do there. Instagram's probably the coolest thing because I post pictures and videos and little short tidbits of stuff. So if you do that, see me there. I'm also on the Gun District. I've got a profile over there. I'm like you are. I'm still learning that, trying to integrate it into my social media awareness.
Menagerie, yeah.
Yeah. I do the Twitter thing, but
there's so many of them, man.
I know. Twitter, Tumblr, you name it. Usually I just kind of cross post. I'm not LeBron, I love it when LeBron James. I don't need my own Twitter. Nobody cares what I'm doing on a Friday night. They just want to see me shoot.
Right. The less things that I have to interact with, the better, the safer for everybody. But you were mentioning about all your sponsors. Who all sponsors you?
Well, I've got a comprehensive list of, with 3-gun, there's tons of guns and gear, and
it's like NASCAR.
I've tried to cover every base, man. I want sights, grips, you name it. So, like I said, if you go to my website, I've got a tab there you can click that says sponsors. My big ones are Rhino Arms. They sponsor me with rifles. They're out of St. Louis, Missouri. They make some really high-end cool stuff. And we actually released a gun together this year, kind of more geared towards the entry level, not something they had done in the past. So, if you hit me up, I've got discount codes for a lot of my sponsors. So if you see a logo on my website that you're like, hey, this guy's got something that I need, hit me up on Facebook and I'll send you a discount, usually 7 to 15% off. So
sweet.
Optics Planet is one of my big sponsors. They have over 1 million SKUs. So if there's something gun wise that you want, other than
they got everything there.
The only thing they don't sell right now is magazines and serialized firearms. All the parts they'll sell. So.
Right.
Even some of my other sponsors, they'll sell it cheaper than they will. So I've got a 10% off discount for Optics Planet. So if you want to get some gear before the holidays, and chances are I'm going to have a little bit better discount codes coming up here with Black Friday. So hit me up.
Ooh, sweet.
Freedom Munitions, that's my ammunition sponsor. J. Dewey Cleaning Rods, they're a big sponsor. And then Chamber View, Safety Flags. And, of course, your sponsor and my sponsor, Nordic Components.
There you go, Nordic Components. And he's got a discount code. We've got a discount code. Get 7% off.
Oh,
one of them.
One of their company, yeah. Actually, I've got a 7.25% discount code if you message me.
Oh, you bastard.
I'm just kidding. It's the same thing. Oh, too bad you can't combine them, right?
Yeah, that would be something. But like you said, with these Black Friday specials coming up, you can use them in conjunction with those. And
yes, be some big.
You should
savings.
be really rocking. Get some great gifts for your gun enthusiast or for yourself.
Yep, stuff your own stocking.
When somebody asks you what you want for Christmas, just give them the discount code and say, "Go there and buy it."
Exactly. One sponsor I'd like to mention that's kind of I thought was kind of cool this year was Zero Tolerance Knives.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's always kind of our goal to get, the Pepsi, Coca-Cola, something that's not gun related in the shooting sports. And just out of the blue this year, I managed to get a deal going with those guys, and looks like it's going to grow next year. And they're going to
kick-ass knives, man.
Oh man, I'll be honest with you, I actually was interested in the Kershaw line because I've had those since I was a kid. My dad was a big Kershaw fan, and we started talking, and they're like, "Hey, we'd like to put you in the zero tolerance stuff." And my jaw hit the floor, and I'm like, "Okay."
Yeah. Well, don't get me wrong. I love Kershaw. I've got several Kershaw knives. My dive knife is a Kershaw knife.
Nice.
But it's just price point wise, I just can't justify spending the money on a zero tolerance knife. They're just like out of my price range.
Yeah, it's definitely not the kind of knife you want to lose.
No.
And that's why I had a lot of Kershaws, because I'm pretty good at losing knives, but yeah.
But the great thing about them is, they've got the warranty on them. They're tough. They're going to last a lifetime. They're heirloom type quality, knives. So, they're well worth the price. Don't get me wrong. I'm just a cheap ass.
Yeah. I've been a big fan of they make some really cool carbon fiber / titanium stuff. I'm a mechanical engineering by degree. mechanical engineer. So that stuff, when I saw that, I was, okay, I'm like, I'll take one of each of those, please. But yeah, it was pretty cool to have a non-endemic, gun company or a knife company get into the gun side of things. It was,
but it makes sense because gun people are knife people also.
Well, yeah, I was actually watching. The reason I contacted them, I was watching an old video back in. It was when shooting sports were actually on ESPN back in the day, probably in the 90s. And one dude had buck knives on his jersey, and I'm like, man, where's the tie-in here? Why would we lose that? And I hit Zero Tolerance up or Kershaw up, and here we are today. So they're getting involved with 3-Gun, getting involved with myself. So pretty cool.
Makes perfect sense. I get a lot of people ask me, like, why do you sponsor an MMA fighter? Why do you sponsor a NASCAR truck? Why do you? I was like, well, because all those people are also, the majority of them are into outdoors and guns and hunting and gear. It makes sense.
Chances are, if you're watching any of that stuff, you have a firearm or two.
Yeah, exactly.
And a knife, and yeah, exactly.
Or you like to camp out, or
you're
do something outdoors. You like to fish, whatever. It's all related somehow. I mean, it's
stuff men like.
Stuff and women.
There you go as well.
Again, big thanks to our new sponsor, Tactical Walls. Make sure you guys go to tacticalwalls.com and use that Leadhead discount code there. Nordic Components, as Jesse and I were just talking, all the codes are the same. It's Leadhead, all capital, all one word, Leadhead, and you're going to get discount at Nordic Components. You're going to get discount at Tactical Walls. You're going to get discount at Dipstick. Their website's Dip123. And go to Primic, and you're going to get a big discount there. I think he's giving 15% discount there. So if you're tired of waiting on trying to win those videos, just go buy them. You get 15% off. Go buy a dozen of them and give them as Christmas gifts. I want to thank Troy. I want to thank Kalashnikov USA. I want you guys to go and support Mission 22. 22 veterans a day commit suicide. That is unacceptable. We need to get the awareness out there. So you guys go to their website, buy their shirts, buy their hats, buy their koozies, whatever they've got, whatever you can wear, rock, talk about, get people talking about this problem that we have in our country about our sheepdogs that are committing suicide. 22 a day, that's 8,000 a year. The numbers are staggering. We want to eliminate that. So get the awareness out there. Go to Mission 22. And then on all your social media, make sure you do hashtag MI22ION. Sheepdog Impact Assistance, Sheepdog IA. These guys, you've heard me talk about them many times. They're helping our former sheepdogs stay active in getting groups together for these disaster recovery missions, keeping them active, or former military, former law enforcement, fire department. Even if you never served, you weren't military, you weren't fire department, EMS, any of that, you could still help out, still join the mission. Go to Sheepdog IA and learn how you can either donate money, donate your time to help those guys there as well. Make sure you guys send me your suggestions on ankle holsters. I'm in the market for a new ankle holster. And also, I wanted to throw this out, something for you guys to be thinking about. Torture test. Are you tired of seeing the torture test videos? I never get enough of watching torture test videos. What about you, Jesse?
Man, a Iraq veteran did some torture tests, and that's some of the few I've watched when he just blew up the Glock, blew up the AR, blew up the AK. Those were awesome. Very long, but I sat and watched the whole thing. Yes, I just wanted to see those guns melt. So.
I know it. So, that's my question to you guys is, are you tired of the torture test? What would you like to see new, different? What would make it more exciting on a torture test? Do you like the ones that go overboard? Do you like them to stay realistic? Give me your feedback on that, because obviously I've got some ideas on some videos coming up. You heard when VSO, Spectre with VSO Gun Channel was on here, we're talking about doing some AK-47 torture tests. Want to get some feedback on that. That's coming up, a project we're going to be doing next year. But next year's coming up. It's around the corner. All right, Jesse, thanks again for being on. It was a pleasure. Look forward to having you on again, and hopefully we can hook up at SHOT Show, if not before. Do you ever get to this neck of the woods, Tennessee?
I do, man. There's a bunch of matches out there at the Rock Castle, so we can make it happen. And if I don't get there, I definitely like Lower Broadway there in Nashville, Tennessee. That's one of my favorite places in the whole world.
Oh, heck yeah, brother. I'll take you around to some of the local places there.
Heck yeah. I've never been off the main strip there, so that would be fun.
Okay, good deal. It's done. Consider it done. And as always, lead heads, keep your loved ones close.
And keep your Rhino Arms closer.
Rhino? You going on a safari? Yes, that's right. We are on location this week. It's the Orient Express. And, oh my gosh, all the sirens and everything are going off. That was awesome. Trains, planes, and emergencies.
There's no alarms in the house, so there's no corner front that she headache, body cramps.
We'll give him this second. Isn't it great to sit in live?
Yeah, I know, right?
Okay.